All right, everybody, welcome into the high noon edition of Pugs Moran. Pugs and Company is what we call this show. It's the first of two streams. Typically, we do, not every day, but almost every day, we do this one, high noon. This is all about current events, trending topics, things everybody's talking about. This show is designed to give you a debriefing on everything that's happening today. Last thing that I want for you is to be out there walking around and not know what's happening in the world. We do a second stream, although we don't do it on Friday night, so disregard. We also don't do it on Saturday night, so tomorrow nothing. And we used to do it on Sunday, but we don't do it on Sunday anymore because it's just too much going on Sunday nights, especially on weekends where I have my boy. So it's like, yeah. But the Pillow Talk edition, which has now been rebranded as Pugs and Parker because it's me and James Parker, that will air every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evening at 9 p.m. Central Time. This show, Monday through Friday at noon, high noon, thus the name. All time Central. Don't let me get into it again. I have praised the superiority of the Central Time Zone far too often. Okay, let's see here. Let me let's get the chat room going. Hiya, Leslie. There she is. She's one of our favorites. She's been around forever. Well, Pug, she's a woman. You don't want to say that she's been around forever. She's not Methuselah. Okay, well, she's what I'm saying is that she's an old friend. That's what I'm trying to say here. I should get right into it because we've got a bunch of stuff to talk about. But right at the top, I wanted to make mention of, I talked about the Pillow Talk show that I do with Pugs and Parker. Last night during the Pugs and Parker show, and by the way, you can catch all of those shows. You can find them. You can go to pugscast.com. That's Pugs, cast, C-A-S-T, pugscast.com. And you can find all the shows that we do. That's a direct link to the YouTube page. Or you can just go to YouTube and you can look up Pugs and Company, Pugscast, Pugs Moran. Just pugscast.com seems to be the easiest way to do it. So last night on the Pugscast show, the Pugs and Parker show, excuse me, we talked about an incident that occurred in Tennessee, in Nashville. It was trending all afternoon and into the evening. It was trending under I-65. There was an incident involving a whole bunch of Nashville police officers, some Tennessee Highway Patrol officers, and some local police from surrounding towns. There was a guy who was out there on the roadway obstructing traffic. It turned into a whole thing, and he had a box cutter, and there were like 40 cops all pointing their guns at him. And after about a half hour of a standoff, the guy made a threatening move. He reached into his pocket, pulled out his hand, and raised it as if he was aiming a gun, and like all 40 police officers open fire on him. There is something for everybody. It doesn't matter which side you're on. If you're again, I'll break it down for you. If you're one of the assholes on the right, there's something for you. If you're one of the assholes on the left, there's something for you. But it appears there's not a whole lot for those of us in the middle, because the argument, not even an argument, just a debate, just a wait and see that I had with James Parker last night was he maintained. James is a bit more, dare I say, MAGA than I am. Although he doesn't support Trump. He has said that a number of times. He thinks that Trump is a fool, but he is, he's actually I shouldn't say that. I don't know if that's good for his brand because he works in conservative radio, but that's what I believe I've heard him say, but I could be wrong. I've misheard things in the past. The conversation that he and I had about this was that he maintained that the I-65 shooting of the unarmed man with the box cutter by 30, it looked like 30. I think they ended up saying 9 cops ended up firing their weapons, but whatever. He maintained that would not be a story at all the next day, to which I pushed back on. I said, I don't know, man. I go, this video is going around. People are going to talk about this. His contention was that because it was a white man who was shot, that there would be zero media coverage in the morning. It wouldn't be a big story. It was going nowhere. And he had some other provocative opinions based on that story. And I thought, no way. This video is so frightening. This video is so disturbing. There is no way that news media doesn't jump all over it. Well, he was right. He was right. That story has completely disappeared. And now we're heading into a weekend where there's going to be a snowstorm on the East Coast. So, all of the media is going to be focused on that because that's where they live. See, they're going to be obsessed with covering stories about, how difficult it is to get to work because it's difficult for them. That's known as the East Coast bias in media. So we're going to get nothing but, unless, of course, we go to war with Russia, that may have them interrupting their, it's so rough to work in the snow coverage. But honestly, I'm shocked. I woke up this morning. I'm like, all right, let's see what the morning shows are saying about this. Let's see. He was right. He was right. I may not like that he's right. I may think that it's just absolutely damning of us as a people that we don't get as upset when 9 cops open fire on someone, an unarmed man. We don't get as upset simply because of the color of the skin. That's I'm a little bit shocked this morning. I thought that it was going to be covered equally. I thought there was going to be, he maintains that none of those cops are going to be in trouble. None of those cops are going to get fired. There's going to be an investigation. It's going to get just quickly moved through the processes of paperwork and rubber stamps. And then the media is not going to cover it. So there will be no trial. There will be no DA in the area forced by media pressure to bring charge. He's right. He seems to be right. Now we will see. We are not through it yet, but boy, oh boy, there is nothing. That was a big story yesterday afternoon and a big story last night. And there is nothing. And, I don't know the reasons for it. I mean, I can say, well, there's a snowstorm coming and we're about to go to war with the Ukraine, or not Ukraine, with Russia in the Ukraine. And there's a whole but man, I don't know. I mean, I have to trying to be as honest as I can. I mean, if that was a black homeless man, would that be the biggest story in the world? Instead, it was like some white trash crazy person, right? Some guy who'd been in trouble with the law a bunch of times. I don't know. I was really upset when I woke up this morning and that story was no longer trending anywhere. And then none of the news shows, I mean, at least what I saw, I don't watch, all the news stories, but he was right. So that is, as we say, something I'm going to be watching for, developing ... But it certainly isn't as big and front and center as other police shootings of unarmed people have been. So, all right. And that is no, I'm not making any political commentary here. This is not trying to be divisive. This is just being honest. I maintained last night. I said, no, you're wrong. It's going to be big today. And it's not. He was actually right. Whether that makes you happy or makes you upset, it is a fact. It doesn't seem to be a story. All right, so let's talk about what are the stories today. What is happening in the world today? This is a show where we run down all the things that are trending, all the things that are happening, anything that you need to know in your world, and quite possibly a whole bunch of shit that you don't need to know. Today is January the 28th. It's the 28th day of the year. 337 days remain until the end of the year. Let's get started, first of all, with a moment of joy. Why are we going to do a moment of joy here? Well, because each and every day I try to start off before we get into the ugliness of that is our reality. I want to bring a little something to you that maybe make you laugh a little bit. All right, look at this. All right, so we're heading. Woo, we got a big NFL football weekend. Let's go. Let's go. We got the championship games between the AFC and the NFC. We've got the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC taking on the Cincinnati Bengals down there in Kansas City. Woo. I'm not going to give you any picks. Because I resist this new form of sports radio that seems to have infected every city in America that has legalized sports gambling. Not here in Dallas. I keep telling you, man, you guys that like the fan, you guys that like the ticket, enjoy what you have now. Because the minute sports gambling becomes legal in this town or in this state, as soon as you're able to place all of these bets in, there's like bookshops on the corner, where you can place all of that stuff. until that becomes a thing, and it will become a thing, because just like marijuana, gambling is bringing huge tax dividends, huge, just rolling in money, these states. So Texas is probably going to do it as well. Not probably, they are. But enjoy the sports radio that you have now, because sports radio now in Dallas is still sports radio. It's not gambling radio. And that's what sports radio has become in my hometown of Chicago. I love sports radio, but I cannot take the constant conversation of odds and point spreads, and they've got bookies on every second. Yeah, man, we're gonna bring in Vito from Caesar's Palace. He's gonna tell us about the prop bets you can. Oh God, can we just get back to talking about why our linebackers? You know what I mean? Can we talk about the baseball situation? There's still a lockout. Can we talk? No, everything is changing. So enjoy the ticket, which is, in my opinion, now, because they are still the ticket. They are still doing sports radio, the finest sports radio station in America. I still put my score in Chicago behind it, because although there is a little bit too much sports gambling talk on the score, I still enjoy when it's not sports gambling talk. So, to that end, let's do our moment of joy. The Rams in the NFC Championship game are going to be playing the San Francisco 49ers. This is the third time they're going to play this year. The Rams won, or the 49ers beat them 2 times in a row. I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think that they're going to beat them for a third time. I think that's probably the hardest thing to do in the NFL, is beat a team 3 times in a row. Went through that very same situation myself a couple of years back. My Chicago Bears beat our arch rival, the Green Bay Packers, twice in the regular season, then met them in the NFC Championship team, and we got walloped. So I'm picking the Rams. Oh, Pugs, you just did it. You said you weren't going to do a pick. I'm picking the Rams, and I'm picking with my heart. I'm picking the Cincinnati Bengals, because I hate that. I don't hate Patrick Mahomes, but I just hate the idea that Kansas City looks like they're just going to be the new New England Patriots for the next few years. I don't like the dynasty. Well, I should say, I don't like the dynasty when it's not my team. So here, to kick off NFL weekend, your moment of joy. I don't know who this girl is, but she's funny. And this is Cooper Kupp. We're watching Cooper Kupp after the game, after the Rams defeated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week, and Cooper Kupp had some big plays at the end. Here's your moment of joy.
Specifically, your defender went and blitzed. What did you see there? How were you able to use that to your advantage?
Yeah, she had a little 3D fire zone, brought the nickel off the edge, safety drop down. It didn't look like they were doing a replacement fire zone, so I knew in the back of the way we were getting 3 pushing through. I had an opportunity to kind of run in there. If I could beat my guy, I just had to beat the safety to the end zone.
Okay. I don't know what the hell we just watched. But this lady went through a whole lot of trouble. She didn't get the Cooper Kupp jersey. She's not wearing a Cooper Kupp number 10. But she did the facial hair. One more time, man. This takes some memorizing. She memorized some football speak here.
Your defender went and blitzed. What did you see there? How were you able to use that to your advantage?
Yeah, she had a little 3D fire zone, brought the nickel off the edge, safety drop down. It didn't look like they were doing a replacement fire zone, so I knew in the back of the way we were getting 3 pushing through. I had an opportunity to kind of run in there. If I could beat my guy, I just had to beat the safety to the end zone.
Oh, she's great. Okay, I don't know what the hell that was we just watched, but I love it. I love the creativity that's going on. Breaking right now, General Miley is giving a... looks like he's answering questions or making statements or something. Success here is through dialogue, talking about the situation in the Ukraine. Again, I think this is just going to be a slow roll until after the Olympics, because Putin doesn't want to piss off Xi Jinping, the leader of China. I don't think that's in the cards. All right, what happened on this day? Before we get into all the things that are actually happening on this day, let's talk about what happened on this day. In 1938, on this day, the world land speed record on a public road is broken by Rudolf Caracciola in a Mercedes-Benz W125 record wagon. That's a German word. I know it because they're spelling record with a K and wagon with an A. And an E. Okay, so check this out. This the only reason I mention this is because I found this to be crazy. In 1938, on a road, not like in the salt flats or, some speedway. In 1938, on a road, this dude drove a Mercedes-Benz 268 miles per hour. 200 in 1938, they had a car that could go 206. I mean, Indy cars now, they go like 200. Just the 268 miles per hour in 1938. Crazy. Also on this day in 1956, Elvis Presley makes his first national television appearance. It doesn't say anything more, but I don't know I don't know what show it was. Saturday Night Live. Was Elvis the guy? I don't believe Pugs. Saturday Night Live isn't that old. Yeah, well, have you watched it lately? It's pretty old. Let's see here. Also, 1958, the Lego company patents the design of its Lego bricks. So happy birthday to Lego. Today was the day that they went, hey, these things are something. And now there's a Lego movies, and Lego went away for a couple of decades. They were just kind of a thing that we took for granted. Legos were big when I was little, but then kids started playing with other things. Hey, when are Lincoln Log? When are we going to get the Lincoln Log movie? When is that going to become a thing? Probably not. Pugs, you can't make individual characters with Lincoln Logs. You can try. I don't know, maybe. In 1960, hey, here's one for the local kids. On this day in happy birthday, Dallas Cowboys. That's right. On this day in 1960, the National Football League announces expansion teams for Dallas to start in the 1960 NFL season and for Minneapolis, St. Paul for the 1961 NFL season. So happy birthday, Dallas Cowboys. Happy birthday, Minnesota Vikings. The history of that is interesting because there was a football team in Dallas. There was the AFL team, the Dallas Texans, owned by the Hunts. And the Texans were playing at the Cotton Bowl, I think. Was it at the Cotton Bowl? And I don't know. Actually, I don't know where they were playing. But I remember there was the issue was this. The NFL had deemed, after the AFL made Dallas a viable market, the NFL said, well, we're going to put a team there. And the AFL team, the Dallas Texans, which had some popularity here, they were like, oh God, we don't have the money to compete with the NFL. There is no way we're going to be able to split this market. So the Dallas Texans, they picked up and moved, and they went to Kansas City, and they are now the Kansas City Chiefs. So happy birthday, Dallas Cowboys. Today is your birthday on this day in 1960. In 1977, it's the first day of the Great Lakes blizzard. On a Pillow Talk edition a couple of weeks ago, E was talking about his experiences here during the 1977 Great Lakes blizzard. It dumped 10 feet of snow in one day between Chicago and upstate New York. Cities affected in upstate New York were Buffalo, Syracuse, Watertown, and surrounding areas. 10 feet of snow in one day. Oh my God. Now we actually looked this up, and I was just a real little kid in 1977. So I don't know that I truly remember the 77, but oddly enough, I remember the 78 or 79 blizzard. I remember that. So happy birthday. And by the way, that's going to be something we'll cover here in a minute because they're predicting another blizzard happening in that area, the East Coast today. Let's see here. On this day in 1985, the supergroup USA for Africa records the hit single, We Are the World, to help raise funds for Ethiopian famine relief. Of course, the video of the making of that song on this day became you know what? Okay, so sometimes there were two. There was We Are the World, which I always thought was kind of corny. I didn't like that song. I thought that song kind of sucked. But the other one, the Band-Aid one, the one that the Brits did, it was mostly Brits. I mean, it was also some Americans, but the Bob Geldof one, Band-Aid. Do they know it's Christmas? That's the one I prefer. I prefer that one. But USA for Africa was recorded on this day in 1985. Also on this day in 1986, by the way, it should be mentioned, we don't have any plane crashes today. Typically, we like to make note of commercial airline disasters that happen on each day. And oh my God, they seem to happen every day. There are none today. There are none to speak of. There was a plane crash in 2002, but that doesn't fit into my, I place it, I believe there was a plane crash every day of the year between 1945 and 2000. And the reason for that is because I believe that that's when they were still working the bugs out of commercial airline travel. So nothing of note, nothing that actually rates a mention here between that time. So no plane crashes. However, on this day in 1986, the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded, disintegrated after liftoff, killing all 7 astronauts on board. Captain Gregory Jarvis, American teacher Krista McAuliffe, Ronald McNair, who was a physicist and an astronaut, Ellison Onizuka, an American engineer and astronaut, Judith Resnick, American colonel, engineer, and astronaut, and Dick Scobie, American colonel, pilot, and astronaut. They all died moments after liftoff. The haunting words, go with throttle up. That's it. As soon as Mission Control says go with throttle up, they go with throttle up and the whole thing explodes. That's one of those moments from my life that I vividly remember. And I remember it because it occurred on the very same day that the 1985 Bears Super Bowl parade in Chicago was happening. And I was in gym class. And like none of the kids were in school. Like half the kids in school took that day off because they either went downtown with their dads or whatever. And there's, millions of people in downtown Chicago cheering on the 85 Bears. And it was really cold outside. And there was only 7 or 8 people left in our gym class. So the gym coach was like, no, we don't really have enough. We can't go outside. Why don't we just hang out in the locker room, everybody? We're going to do this as a study hall. So basically, it was everybody just hanging out in the locker room for a period because there wasn't really enough to play any games or do anything of note in the gymnasium, and you couldn't go outside. And quite honestly, the coaches wanted to watch the coverage of the parade. So the gym coaches were all in the locker room. They were all in their office, and they were watching the parade coverage. And because I didn't cotton to the idea of just sitting on a bench in a locker room cracking some books, I was in the coach's office. I was just hanging out with him. I was talking. I was one of them kids. I was one of those kids that was like friendly with the teachers and stuff. I could talk to them. They thought I was funny, or whatever. They found me entertaining enough that they didn't tell me to get the hell out. So I'm sitting in the coach's office at Andrew High School because all of my friends went to the Super Bowl parade. And we're watching the parade. We're watching the live coverage. And then they broke in. Did they break in, or was it? Did they have? I don't remember exactly how this was. And actually, now that I think about it, I don't know that I saw it happen live or if I saw it happen moments later on tape. But we were in there. We were watching TV, and they broke in with. Oh no! I think we watched it live. I think it was a big deal. It was a big deal. So they broke in with the launch of the Challenger. And we're all watching it, and it goes up, and we're like, oh, that's cool. Everybody's saying, oh, that's cool. Exploded. And if you were old enough to remember this, we weren't sure right away what had happened. It didn't look right. It didn't look like any of the other launches that we'd seen. But in the first minute or so, we weren't going, oh, it wasn't like it exploded and everybody went, oh. It was confusing. It was weird. It was like, okay, why are those things all shooting off another? We've never seen that happen before. And I remember the most haunting thing was that the television news camera, was pointed directly at the face of Krista McAuliffe's parents. It was a big deal. She was the first teacher that was being sent into space. She was going to conduct classroom experiments and that sort of thing from outer space. And the camera was just trained on the father. And I'll never forget the look on the father's face. it was just like the rest of us. It wasn't horror. It was just this look of confusion that Krista McCall's father had on his face that was haunting. Haunting is the best way to explain it. And then I remember hearing, and I don't know if it was the newscaster or if it was Mission Control, but there was a declaration, if you will, of catastrophic malfunction. Yeah, that was heavy, man. That was heavy. And then we all knew. Then suddenly we all knew. What a day. Never forget that Super Bowl parade that I didn't get to go to, but I was in the coach's office when the thing exploded, and we were all like, whoa. That was on this day in 1986. So, there you go. That was a big moment. And then we had another one explode. Remember coining the term of West Texas shuttle country, because we had the other was it Columbia? Challenger exploded first. Was it Endeavor? I don't know. Enterprise? I don't know which one. I think it was Columbia. If it was Columbia was the first one. So that was the old one. But about 2004, maybe 2005, we had the one that was landing in Houston, and it was re-entering the Earth's atmosphere over Texas, and it just it broke up. We don't really think about that one quite as much as we think about the Challenger, because the Challenger was the first one, but that one also killed all the astronauts on board. All right, let's do some celebrations. Let's do some Challenger. Oh, no, man, you remember. Wasn't the first teacher on the shuttle, so maybe that. Yeah, it was, and that's what made it even more tragic, really, was the fact that schoolrooms across the country, some of you in the chat room may have been young enough, schoolrooms all across the country had a live feed of the launch of the first teacher. So little kids all across America were watching this as a part of their science classes or whatever it was. Little kids all across America are watching this thing, and it just goes horrendously wrong, tragically wrong. Yikes. Now, Sally Ride is who Clovis is talking about. Sally Ride. Sally Ride was the first female astronaut. She did not die. Krista McAuliffe is the teacher who was killed in this one. And there was another woman too, who never gets any play, because I guess at this point it was normal. Judith Resnick was a woman who was on board with Krista McAuliffe on the Challenger when it went off. But Krista McAuliffe is the one we remember because she was the school teacher. That was the big deal. All right, let's talk about some birthdays born on this day in 1936. Alan Alda. Oh, my God. There's about a 15-year period in America where Alan Alda and Henry Winkler were the two biggest stars on television. And now we hardly ever see Alan Alda anymore. Well, maybe that's because he's almost, how old is Alan Alda? He was born 60, 40, 50, 60, 62. Wait, no. Wait. You're doing math again, Pugs. You're embarrassing yourself with your math. 40, 60, 80, 82, 4, 5, 86. 87 years old. Is he 87? Alan Alda, 87 years old today. Also born on this day, Hawkeye. He was Hawkeye in MASH. And he was also Senator Arnold Vinnick on The West Wing. Alan Alda, born on this day in 1936. Born on this day in 1950, Barbie Benton. Barbie, and I only mentioned her because we talked about her recently on the Pillow Talk edition. She was one of Hugh Hefner's girlfriends. She was a smoke show babe of the mid to early 70s, and she was born on this day in 1950. Barbie Benton, Hugh Hefner's girlfriend, Playboy model, American actress, singer. It says all those things. Also born on this day in 1968, Sarah McLachlan. Sarah McLachlan, hauntingly beautiful. Sarah McLachlan, that voice used for years. We don't see the Sarah McLachlan look at all these abused puppy commercials anymore, but that was a thing. She was famous to one generation for being this tremendous female singer-songwriter, and then she went away for about a decade, and then she came back on our TVs singing about how dogs are abused, and they used her music, and it was awful. It was very depressing. It was a very depressing thing. Happy birthday, also born on this day, same exact age as Sarah McLachlan, Rakim of Eric B. and Rakim, the one of the early I don't know if they were early, but a long time ago hip hop group, Eric B. and Rakim. Rakim, widely considered one of the great rappers of all time. So there you go. So happy birthday to Rakim. Rakim always makes the list. It's like, who are the greatest rappers of all time? Rakim is always on the list, always. Born on this day, and boy, is this depressing, in 1972, it's our second consecutive Supreme Court birthday in a row. Yesterday was John Roberts, Chief Justice John Roberts' birthday. Today in 1972, Amy Coney Barrett was born. Now, Pugs, why are you saying that's depressing? What are you, some liberal? No, it's depressing because I didn't realize that there was a Supreme Court justice who was younger than me. That's why it's depressing. Amy Coney Barrett, born on this day in 1972. Born on this day in 1976, American rapper and hip-hop producer extraordinaire, Rick Ross. Rick Ross, who... Is it just me, or does he look a lot like Suge Knight? Is that like... You're a racist! Then they all look the same to you? No. Just a really big guy. Face is covered up with beard. They wear sunglasses a lot. You know, they seem to be of the same size and shit. I don't know. He reminds me of... He doesn't look anything like Suge Knight. Well, just Google their pictures. I think that there is a slight resemblance, and I can be forgiven for thinking that Rick Ross looks like Suge Knight. Let's see. Joey Fatone, born on this day in 1977. I have to admit, I do not know who Joey Fatone is. I mean, I know who Joey Fatone is. I know who Joey Fatone is because he was derisively described as the fat one. He was in a boy band. I don't know if he was in NSYNC, 98. I don't know what group he was in. He was in one of them groups, and they called him the fat one because he wasn't even fat. He was just like stocky. He wasn't fat. That was not a fat guy. But it was funny because his name is literally spelt. His last name, Fatone, is literally spelt fat one. So, you know, you got that. Born on this day in 1980. This is a guy that we don't talk. I am surprised that the QAnon people haven't jumped on this. Well, actually, I shouldn't be surprised because he was, how do I say it? He wasn't like, born on this day in 1980, Michael Hastings. Now, if you don't know who Michael Hastings is, you could do yourself a good deed, and you could just Google him, and you can read his Wikipedia page. You can find out who he is. Michael Hastings was a journalist. He was an author. He is the man behind, do you remember the Petraeus scandal and all of the misdeeds that Petraeus and Michael Flynn perpetrated or supposedly, whatever, I don't know. It's a little murky, but still some of his reporting for Rolling Stone took down both General Petraeus and Michael Flynn, and they made a good movie about it. I don't know. It's a Brad Pitt movie, and Michael, the guy who played Farmer Ted in 16 Candles, Michael Anthony Hall, Brad Pitt and Michael Anthony Hall. War Machine. That's it. It's on Netflix. War Machine is really good, and it's about the Michael Hastings investigation. Michael Hastings did a whole lot of stuff, man. He was one of these young journalists who was taking down big targets. And he was born on this day in 1980. He died in 2013. And this is why I say I'm surprised that QAnon hasn't jumped all over this one, because he was murdered. Michael Hastings, well, I am sorry. I liked Michael Hastings. I found his writing in Rolling Stone to be tremendous. I was a big fan of his work. He seemed to be fearless. He wasn't worried about taking down the biggest, most corrupt targets. And he died in a very curious way. He died when his car suddenly accelerated on a road in California and drove headfirst into a tree. He was driving... It was all captured on video. You can find the Michael Hastings crash video on YouTube. You can watch it for yourself. Michael Hastings had just one of the last phone calls that he made was to his girlfriend and then to his editor at Rolling Stone. He was working on a very big story that concerned the Central Intelligence Agency. And, his history was he had taken down generals. He had taken down big people. And if you watch the video, you see Michael Hastings' Mercedes-Benz. It was one of these really computerized early versions of the, high-tech Mercedes-Benz. You can see his Mercedes-Benz rolling down the road in just like a city, like not even a city street. It seemed like a neighborhood street. And it's just goes 100 miles an hour right into a tree. And I say that he was murdered because I've read a lot about it. I've seen a number of documentaries, and this is right around the time that we were learning about the ability of certain people with certain skills to hack into cars. I mean, we hear that now. We hear, well, you don't want a fully computerized car because then if somebody wants to take you out, they can remotely take control of your car and they can kill you. And that is believed what happened to Michael Hastings. Michael Hastings, in my estimation, is a hero. And since he's been dead, there's been all of this. You're going to find the very first things you're going to find about him are all kinds of misinformation. I believe disinformation that was put out there just to make it seem like, well, he did drive straight directly into the car. I don't buy it. He had depression. He was an alcoholic. None of those things were ever talked about before until people started going, hey, Hastings was going after the CIA, and then suddenly his car just for no reason drives directly into a tree. He had just spoken to his girlfriend. He was on his way home. He had spoken to his editor at Rolling Stone. He said, I'll be filing a story in the morning, or whatever it was. I'm almost done. I need a little more, whatever it was. And then like an hour later, his car just drives at 100 miles an hour into a tree. Hastings was married to Elise Jordan. Is that true? I didn't know that. Okay. Just a very interesting story. That it was a big story for about a year. And then everybody just walked away from it. Oh, well, I guess we'll never know if the CIA actually hacked into Michael Hastings' computer in his car and drove him headfirst into a tree. All I know is that the video is horrifying. You can see the video. It's there on YouTube. All right, so happy birthday, late, great Michael Hastings. Oh, what's happening here? Sorry, hold on. I just had something weird happen with my computer. Today is the National Day of... Oh, by the way, there are no real deaths of note other than the astronauts who I mentioned. Today, it's one of them stupid days. January 28th is National Big Wig Day. What is this? A day where we're supposed to honor people who consider themselves big wig? Or is it just actually wear a big wig? Oh, look at that. No, it is. Today's the day where you're supposed to put on a fun big wig. So there you go. Have at it. National Big Wig Day, the 28th of January. It's also National Kazoo Day. The kazoo is at once the most irritating instrument in the world and the funnest instrument in the world. I love a kazoo. And I also recognize that it's super irritating when it's not me blowing into the kazoo. Data Privacy Day is today, the 28th. I don't know what that means. The whole data privacy thing, I don't know. Here's what I think. I understand, it's important, but I can't concern myself with that. I have nothing to hide. I'm just a regular guy. I don't have any power. There ain't nobody gonna be targeting me. I mean, if they're scooping up data from 300 million people here in the United States, nothing I do is going to get flagged. There ain't nobody coming. I can't. I understand it's a very big issue that we want our privacy, but there are other things that I'm more concerned about. You ain't gonna find nothing on me. What are you gonna find out? You're gonna find out. You're gonna find out that maybe I shit talk some people on email. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what you're going to find. My tweets are all there. Pretty much my unfiltered thoughts are on Twitter and occasionally on Facebook. Today, the 28th of January, is National Fun at Work Day. So have fun at work. And it's also National Gift of the Ladybug Day. What the fuck is Gift of the Ladybug? Let's see what this is. What is that, like an opera? What is Gift of the Ladybug? Doesn't that sound like an opera? National Gift of the Ladybug Day on January 28th honors all children with critical... Oh, geez. I'm an a-hole. Okay, so it's a good one. It's a good one. It's a day that honors all children with critical illnesses. The day is also an opportunity to raise awareness of childhood illnesses and support the children and families facing medical differences. There you go. Gift of the Ladybug Day. That's a worthy thing. Good for that. My God. Anybody with a kid is just so far so good. If you've got a sick kid, God bless you. Seriously, I don't even believe in God, but for this, I will. Now, what do you mean you don't believe in God? I thought you always say you're a searcher. I am. It's not that I don't believe in God, just that I'm not committed to the concept as of yet. I believe in something. I just don't know what it is. There's something going on, but I don't know. I don't know. Trending today, we already covered it. Trending number 1, Challenger. At least that's what was trending earlier today. Also trending today in here, man, there's a lot of like nonsense going on today, but there's also some really heavy stuff. Jason Rivera is trending today. I watched his funeral this morning. Jason Rivera is the 22-year-old New York City police officer who was killed along with his partner a few days ago. His funeral was today at St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City. Just huge, just beautiful. If you could use the term beautiful to describe a funeral, this was it. And his wife, he had just gotten married. Like they just got married like a couple months ago. And his wife got up and she was speaking, and she talked about how they had been. I mean, they had been together since elementary school. 22-year-old kid, 22-year-old guy decides he's gonna serve his community. He becomes a police officer. He's only been a cop for a year, and then. Well, here, I'll just read it to you. It's just such a heartbreaking speech. It was, my vocabulary fails me because it seems like a tap out to describe his widow's speech this morning that was carried on, at least it was carried on CNN. It's a tap out to describe it as beautiful. I don't, it was moving. Man, I was making coffee and I started to cry. I'm like, oh my God, is this heavy? What an incredible woman. She is standing up there and she is talking about her dead husband. Oh my God. Dateline New York, thousands of police officers lined the pews Friday at St. Patrick's Cathedral to honor fallen officer Jason Rivera, who was gunned down with his partner last week in an ambush that left New York Police Department in mourning and the city on edge. He and his partner, we'll talk about his partner next week. This is about Jason Rivera today. Next week is his partner's funeral at the same place. Mayor Eric Adams himself, a retired police captain, told those gathered that he saw an echo of himself in the slain officer who had joined a department he had seen as flawed in hopes of improving it. He did it for the right reasons. He wanted to make a difference, said Mayor Adams, a Democrat who also sounded a message of support for a force that, like other police departments, has come under criticism amid a national reckoning with police, race, and what public safety should mean. There were days when I felt, this is the mayor now, there are days when I felt the public did not understand and appreciate the job we were telling. And I want to tell you officers, they do, he said. These two fine men watered the tree of safety that allows us to sit under the shade from hot sun of violence. Officers came from near and far to honor Rivera, 22 years old, who was recently married and barely into his second year of service on the force. Doesn't really matter what uniform we wear, said Master Police Officer Tammy Russell from Fairfax County, Virginia. These are all our brothers and sisters. Sadness all around. Rivera and partner, Officer Wilbert Mora, were fatally wounded on January 21st by a gunman who ambushed them in a hallway as they responded to a family dispute. Mora's funeral is being held next week, also at St. Patrick's Cathedral. Both officers grew up in the city's ethnic enclaves and had hoped to help the department build bridges with their communities. Friends and fellow police officers described them as caring and dedicated. Roman Catholic Cardinal Timothy Dolan presided over Rivera's service, held in Spanish and English in recognition of his Dominican heritage. A day earlier, everyday citizens joined thousands of uniformed police officers at the cathedral for Rivera's wake. New York Governor Kathy Hochul said flags at the state buildings would fly at half-staff from sunrise the day of Rivera's funeral until sunset the day of Mora's funeral on Wednesday. It's an emotional time, said retired New York PD police officer Sean Flanagan, who played the bagpipes outside the cathedral. We honor our own. We take care of our own. The gunman, who was shot by a third officer, died earlier in the week. So we don't have to deal with that son of a bitch. Before Friday, the last New York Police Department officer killed in the line of duty was Anastasio Sakos. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's Greek. It's Tsakos. So the T is typically silent. Sakos. Before Friday, the last New York PD officer killed in the line of duty was Anastasio Sakos, who was struck by a suspected drunk driver that back in May of 2021 while assisting officers at the scene of an earlier crash. The last New York Police Department officer fatally shot in the line of duty was Brian Mulkeen. He was hit by friendly fire while struggling with an armed man after chasing and shooting at him in the Bronx. That was in September of 2019. And then there's this one, which I remember, but I don't remember it being this long ago. Two officers, Randolph Holder and Brian Moore, were killed in separate shootings in 2015. So in 2015, Holder and Moore were killed in separate shootings. And then the year before, in 2014, officers Wei-Jin Liu and Rafael Ramos were fatally shot by a man who ambushed them as they sat in their patrol car in Brooklyn. That's the one that I remember. I remember these cops were just sitting in their car and some guy came, boom, boom, and just killed them dead, sitting in their car, a total ambush. That was in 2014. That was 8 years ago now. That does not seem like 8 years ago. And when you think about, look, you can have opinions on all sides of this if you're a normal person. You can have an opinion that says, yeah, it does seem like, black dudes get accused of a lot more stuff. You can have that opinion, but you can also have the opinion that, you got to back the blue. The police are the first, regardless of how you think some squirrely cops may behave, the police are important to us. They are our last line of defense between us and whatever kind of mayhem is occurring out there in the real world. You can hold both of those ideas. You don't have to just be on the right where, those people get what they deserve. And you can be in the left and you can be like, I think cops are murdering people. You can have both of those. You can join us in the middle and you can go, yeah, there's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But the idea, yeah. And now you're going to be politically divisive. I thought you were an open-minded, progressive-leaning dude in the middle, Pugs. What? Well, I am. And that's why I think that the whole, it was a red herring. It was a straw man. It was a bullshit gaslighting attempt that the idea of defund the police ever became something that people thought was a possibility, because there's nobody except the absolute farthest reaching moronic left embraced. Nobody. There is nobody. Come on, man. You cannot name me one important blue politician in America who supports defunding the police. Well, Ilhan Omar said, Ilhan Omar is not important. She is a junior congresswoman. Well, Alexandria Cortez is not important. The right has demonized these people and made them important. But do you know how many Congress people there are that you, me, or anybody else has never heard of? That's who Ilhan Omar and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez should be. And quite frankly, if we're being fair, that's who Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lorena Bobbitt should be. They should be these anonymous junior Congress people because they have no power, they chair no committees, that the influence that these people have been granted to them by the media because they say crazy things, and the media likes to go, hey, look at this crazy thing someone in politics said. Those are manufactured. None of those people have actual power in any real tangible way. Again, they chair no committees. They have no senior votes. They have nothing. They are junior Congress people who are rabble rousers. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, name the guy she replaced. Name the congressman that she replaced in Queens or Brooklyn or the Bronx or with Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, whatever that hybrid area. You can't name that person because that's an anonymous, non-important congressional district. But she might be the highest profile person in Congress simply because she was made that way by the media who is trying to manipulate us. It's bullshit. It's nonsense. None of them have any power. Madison Cawthorn has no power. Marjorie Taylor Greene has no power. Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't even sit on any committees. She doesn't even have a chair on any committees. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she has no power. Ilhan Omar has no power. These people have no power other than the power that has been granted them by the media because they're divisive. And the media is constantly trying to divide us. All right, that's enough. So nobody believes that defund the police is a real thing. It's not. It's madness. There can't be. You can't defund. What? We're gonna have no cops? Oh, shut up, stupid. Sit down. Go hug a tree. Go do whatever it is that you do. That's a moronic position to take. Police reform, taking a look at the way we police in our communities and making some tweaks and changes based on the current societal climate, that's a very real issue. That's something we can talk about. But ain't nobody gonna ban the police. Nobody looking stupid. So stupid. It's just the job of the media now seems to be just to trigger us, just to get us going. What? All right. Okay, so here's another one in New York City. Sea Blue. Sea Blue is trending. Who is Sea Blue? Well, Sea Blue is an up-and-coming Interscope recording hip-hop artist who got a whole bunch of money recently from Interscope for his first album that they're going to be putting out. I don't know. I'm sure that they'll still put out his album, but Sea Blue, he shot a cop. He shot a New York City cop. New York City teen charged with shooting New York Police Department officer walking free on bond. So the reason that Sea Blue, also known as Cameron Williams, is trending today is because he shot a cop and he's out. He shot a cop the other day, and thankfully the cop is fine. Also shot himself in the process. Dummy. Shot a cop and they bailed out. He bailed out. He shot a cop and a judge let him walk. What the hell? I mean, what do you get? What do they reject bail for? Now, if you can shoot a cop and you're offered an opportunity to make bail, of which he was able to make because he just got a whole bunch of money from Interscope. A 16-year-old up-and-coming rapper charged with shooting a New York Police Department officer in the Bronx walked free on bond Thursday, and cops are fuming over it. Rightfully so. Cops shouldn't be fuming over it. We, the people, the citizens, should be fuming over this. Cameron Williams, who is also known by the hip-hop name Sea Blue, posted his $250,000 bond after being locked up at a Brooklyn juvenile facility on gun and assault charges in the shooting of 27-year-old cop in Belmont. Quoting now, if anybody wants to know why we have a crisis of violence in this city or why we're about to bury 2 hero police officers, that's Maureen Rivera, who we talked about, and why we're about to bury 2 hero police officers, look no further than this disgraceful bail release. New York Police Department Benevolent Association President Patrick Lynch said in a statement. This individual chose to carry illegal guns twice, Lynch said. He chose to fight with and shoot a New York City police officer. There's no reason to believe that he won't do the exact same thing when he's out on the streets tonight. Shame on Judge Dennis Boyle for allowing this to happen, he said. The people of the Bronx won't be safe as long as he's on the bench. Boyle, a Bronx Supreme Court justice, has come under fire in the past amid claims that he's overly lenient, particularly with young defendants. In a statement Thursday, state court officials said the anger is misdirected. Here's a quote now from the state court. The ire that the Policemen's Benevolent Association president is projecting on the judge, who is following the law, should be directed at the individuals who promulgate those laws. Lucian Chalfin, spokesman for the State Office of Court Administration, said. State lawmakers have also come under fire after passing prohibitive bail reform measures that bar judges from setting bail on misdemeanors and nonviolent felonies. Williams was eligible for bail in this case. Don't you think that if you shoot a cop, that should be one of the things that we, the people, need? We need to defend our cops in these cases. If you shoot a cop, let's not have any bail until we figure out exactly what was going on here. I'm open to the idea that there's more to the story, but you shot a cop, and that seems like something we ought to keep you somewhere where we know where you are. C Blue, the young hip-hop artist recently signed to Interscope Records, walked out of Crossroads Juvenile Center in Brooklyn shortly before 7 p.m. He declined comment to a reporter at the time. But in a statement, his attorney, Dawn Florio, said her client will focus on his music. He's going to focus on his music now. I bet he'll be spitting some hot fire about this incident, because that'll sell records. Hey, C Blue's new album, it's got a track about him shooting a cop, and it's real hardcore. Cameron has been released and will be back to his regular productive life of focusing on schoolwork and his music career, Florio said. I can't take the bullshit anymore, people. I can't take the bullshit. Schoolwork? He's a 16-year-old with a big record deal from Interscope. He ain't focusing on his schoolwork. Maybe his music, but there's also another activity that's probably going to fill the void where schoolwork should have been. Police said Williams was arrested after cops from the 48th Precinct responded to reports of an unruly crowd at Laurelard Place near East 187th Street. C Blue, Williams, refused to take his hands out of his pockets and got into a fight with cops. During the struggle, a gun he was holding went off, with a single bullet striking and wounding New York Police Department officer Kasim Pennant, and also hitting the teenager in the groin. He shot himself in the balls. Jeez. Williams already had a 2020 gun possession arrest on his record and was placed on probation as a juvenile in the case just 1 month earlier. Bronx prosecutors asked that the teen be held without bail at his arraignment last week, but Judge Boyle set the bond at $250,000. Williams, who was being held at Crossroads Juvenile Center in Brooklyn, reportedly planned to use an advance on his recording contract with Interscope to post the bail. All right, so there you go. Come on now. I mean, no, see, do you see what being in the middle is? Last night's Pillow Talk, I was troubled by the idea that all of those cops behaved the way they did in Nashville, shooting one guy with a box cutter and just putting him down. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, they opened fire on him. I was very critical of that. I think that's a problem that needs to be looked at. But here we are on the other side of things. Just because I lean progressive, I have to pretend that this scumbag is actually going to focus on his schoolwork now? Stop it. How do these lawyers sleep at night? Calm down. It's complicated, folks. When you align yourself only on one side, you do your soul a disservice. When you just don't do that. Stop being pushed into one column by people who make millions of dollars to gin you up. Stop it. Use your head. Life is complicated. There are a lot of moving parts. You got to think things through. Sometimes you're on one side of an issue. Sometimes you're on the other side of another issue but I thought you were on my team. Yeah, but you're stupid because this issue doesn't. Everything is not political. Everything is not socially divisive. Everything is not a part of the culture war. Although we got stuff on the culture wars. Oh my God, do we have shit trending today. Pittsburgh is also trending. Bridge collapsed in Pittsburgh this morning, hours before President Biden was scheduled to visit the city to talk about the infrastructure bill. Police reported the span came down around 6 a.m. Authorities said that at this time, there are no reports of injuries. That's good. I mean, Biden's been saying we need infrastructure. We need to rebuild these things. It's like clockwork. I am certain that QAnon is saying that Biden made the bridge come down because it would just reinforce his desire to get all of that liberal money to build on bridges and blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Shut up. You're not helping. You're just morons. So he's going to Pittsburgh to talk about the desperate need for infrastructure and how we need to start fixing the bridges and the tunnels and the systems and the highways and all of that stuff because America is falling apart. And on the morning that he's supposed to show up there, a bridge in Pittsburgh collapses. Conspiracy theory. I don't know. I think nobody got injured. So that's, we can be a little glib about this one because it's not like it came down and killed a whole bunch of kids in a school bus, but it could have. I am scared to death. I read a report about a year ago that was all about the bridges and the roads and all of that stuff in America. And do you know that we rank below some African nations as far as our infrastructure stability? Our infrastructure stability is like on par with Eastern Europe. Like we have bridges and tunnels that are as safe as Kazakhstan. I mean, that's basically in the when the World Engineer or whatever that organization is puts this thing out and rates all of the countries that have the safest and all of that stuff. We're like in bad company. Now those Africans, sure. Okay. So, of course, Nigeria has better bridges than us because those bridges have only been up for 10 years. They didn't have bridges in Nigeria. They used to take like boats across them. So, okay. So I get that. So that's a bit of a misdirection. But I mean, when we are in league with places that used to be former Soviet republics, as far as how safe our bridges are and our roads, every time I drive over a big bridge, especially if it's in a big city, like Chicago has so many bridges because of all of the rivers. Every time I'm like, man, this bridge was built like 90 years ago. And I guarantee you there has been no tax dollars spent on fixing this damn bridge over the last 90 years. A number of years ago, and I say a number of years ago because it seems like it was just yesterday, but probably, the murder of those two New York City police officers who were sitting in their car, that to me seemed like just yesterday, but turns out it was 8 years ago. So probably around that same time, or probably a little bit earlier than that. No, you know what? It had to have been because I remember watching it on TV and my kid was a baby. So about 10, 11 years ago, 12 years ago, maybe. Do you remember when that major bridge intersection in St. Paul, Minneapolis collapsed, killing all of those people? This was like a bridge, a major bridge during rush hour, and it just collapsed. The top level of the bridge collapsed on the lower level. Everybody that was stuck in traffic underneath got squashed, got killed. That was horrifying. That was, whoa, was that unnerving? Because that is something we take for granted. We take for granted that when we drive over a bridge or when we drive over, we go from this place to this place, that we're going to get there safely. I already get nervous. I don't like being on long bridges. That's not, no, thank you. That is not something that I'm in. Short ones. There's a bridge over, I don't know what, by Rockwall. I don't know where it is over here. It goes over the lake and it goes on for like 2 or 3 miles, it seems. Man, I get the cold sweats when I'm on that thing. I hate that thing. I don't know how long ago that damn thing was built. I don't know how much of Texas tax dollars have been spent to keep it. I don't want to end up in that lake. What lake is that? I don't know. Rockwall Lake, maybe? I don't know what lake that is. I only know Lake Louisville. I'm a Lake Louisville lake rat. Okay, what else is trending today as we go through all of these? Chris Brown is trending. Oh, what is Chris Brown getting into? Chris Brown. Why is Chris Brown still a thing? After he beat the shit out of Rihanna, didn't we all go, you can't do that to Rihanna. We like Rihanna. Chris Brown is trending. Chris Brown is trending. Why? Well, probably Pugs. Maybe he did some good deeds. Maybe he bought a homeless shelter. Maybe he's funding all the schools in his hometown. Maybe he's picking flowers for widows, or maybe he's being accused of rape. That's I'll go with what is rape, Alex. Chris Brown allegedly raped a woman on a yacht parked at Diddy's Star Island home. This according to a new $20 million lawsuit. The singer's being sued by Jane Doe, who says she's a professional choreographer, dancer, model, and musical artist. She's hanging out on a boat in Star Island, hanging out with P. Diddy and Chris Brown, claims to be a professional choreographer, dancer, model, musical artist. She's probably just a stripper, right? I mean, that's probably what we're talking about here. We're talking about a girl who was a stripper, and that doesn't lessen what happened to her. It's just, dancing it up again, lawyer speak, making her seem something other than, because we would all have preconceived notions, which is wrong. I learned that, boy. I learned that quick. I know a lot of women who were strippers, who are cool women, who are impressive women. Not everybody is born into generational wealth like the people here in the 1%er compound. A lot of people are born where they don't have certain opportunities and they need to make some money, and they decide, well, I can make some money doing this. Now, you can hold your moral judgments. You can have those, you can keep those, but keep them out of this conversation, because you know what? People do what they got to do. I also know people who have sold drugs years ago, who are now successful businessmen. And they did it because, that's in many cases the male version of being a stripper. So no judgment, but professional choreographer, dancer, model. According to the suit obtained by TMZ, the woman claims that Chris Brown grabbed the phone of a friend she was FaceTiming and urged her to come to Diddy's home ASAP on Miami's Star Island. I bet she did. I bet if you're a girl who, what? Well, I'm just laying on my couch this Saturday afternoon watching reruns of I Love Lucy, but suddenly Chris Brown is asking me to come party with him and Diddy. Whoa, me? I don't even particularly like those guys, and I'm getting in my car and I'm going over to hang out with Chris Brown and Diddy. When she arrived there on December 30th, 2020, the woman claims Chris approached her and asked her if she wanted a drink, motioning her towards the kitchen area of the yacht. In the documents, she claims she entered the kitchen with Chris Brown, where he gave her a red cup with a mixed drink and they started drinking. After he filled her cup a second time, she claims she began to feel a sudden, unexplained change in consciousness. She got Cosby'd. Look at this. According to the suit, the woman claims she also felt disoriented, physically unstable, and started to fall in and out of sleep. And that's when she says Chris led her into a bedroom while she was drugged and half asleep. In the documents, the woman... Okay, so can we stop here? What? I don't doubt it. I mean, whatever. I have one issue. Why isn't this a legal issue? Why aren't the police involved? Why is this a civil issue? I mean, if this is true, it looks like she's just looking to get a settlement. It looks like she's just looking to get a check to make it all go away. Okay, that's one that does not excuse what was happening. So here's my question about what he allegedly did, which I believe. I totally believe it. Why? You are Chris Brown. I don't believe that you have to. You're Chris Brown. You don't have to drug women. You're Chris Brown, for crying out loud. If she says no, get on the phone and call somebody else. There are going to be willing and able women at your beck and call to do what. You don't even have to slow roll it. You don't have to, baby. You don't have to be nice about it. You can just say, I'm Chris Brown. I'm on P. Diddy's yacht. You want to come over and bang? And there will be a line of girls. Why does he do this? And well, Pugs, that's just the accusation. And I believe he did it. I believe he did it. Chris Brown doesn't seem to be the most together dude, In the docs, the woman claims that Chris closed the bedroom door, barring her attempt to leave, removed her bikini bottoms, and started kissing her. She says she mumbled for Chris to stop, but he persisted and then raped her. A little bit of details here that are ugly. The woman claims that Chris Brown ejaculated inside of her, jumped up and announced he was done. She claimed... Okay, it's not funny. That's the nervous laughter that kicks in. It is weird. I'm done. Later, ho. She claims Chris texted her the next day and demanded she take Plan B. Although, that's another thing. Chris Brown, why are you doing that inside of her? Why? What is wrong? Well, what is wrong with Chris Brown? I don't know. We've been asking ourselves that for almost 2 decades now. How long has this dude been around? She claims Chris texted her the next day and demanded that she take a plan B. Although she was distraught, she claims she did exactly that. Okay, now this is interesting because she's got to have that text, right? You don't delete a text. You don't delete a text from Chris Brown. I have texts from minor celebrities in my phone from years ago that I refuse to delete. If I've just been through this situation with Chris Brown and he texts me, you keep that, right? Unless they were doing that thing that kids do, Snapchat, then I guess it goes away. I don't know. She's suing Chris for $20 million in damages, claiming the alleged rape is causing her severe emotional distress. The woman's attorney, Ariel Mitchell and George Vrebeck, tell us their client did not report the alleged rape to cops at the time because she was a medical student and was she's working her way through nursing school. Mitchell and Vrebeck also say they're committed to victims being heard and would urge anyone with information to contact them. We reached out to Chris's camp. So far, no word back. Now, I'm not trying to denigrate this one. I am absolutely not. But it is. This is why I'm glad I have boys. The world is a dangerous place for women. The world is an exceptionally dangerous place for beautiful women, especially when they're in the company of powerful men with influence and cash. I don't know. There is no excuse. If this, in fact, happened in the way that she is describing, there is no excuse for it. But there were things that could have been done so that it didn't occur. And some of that is on her. Some of that is recognizing that Chris Brown is a dirtbag piece of crap. It's not a secret. Chris Brown's activities over the years, that's not a secret. I can't believe that he still has a career after what he did to Rihanna the night before the Grammys. So that's why I'm glad I have boys, because my daughter, look, use your head. Please use your head in these situations. These people are evil. They will try to take advantage of you. And I know it sounds like fun to go to a yacht party in P. Diddy's backyard and hang out with Chris Brown. I know that sounds like fun, but please recognize what his motive might be. Recognize it. And make your own drinks. Right? And that's something. I know a very beautiful woman. She's a little bit older now, but she was a bartender. And she very beautiful. She used to get, obviously a beautiful woman can't go anywhere. Her rule her whole life was that she makes her own drinks or she orders her own drinks. Nobody buys her a drink, slides it over and says, hey, I got this for you. She's like, yeah, no, I'll order one myself and you can still pay for it. But no, I'm not drinking that. You go ahead. You drink that. Good rule of thumb, girls. Don't ever, but it is terrible that you have to think that way. Is it terrible that America's beautiful young women have to be that defensive and have to think about those things and have to go into the worst possible scenario before they accept a drink from a guy? Yeah, it is. It's terrible, but it's also true. The world is terrible. There are terrible things that we have to change the way we would naturally do them every single step of the way in this world. God, Chris Brown. First of all, I believe her. I believe her because it's Chris Brown. I do. I believe something went down. I'm a little troubled that she didn't go to the police because she was a medical student. Just go to the police now. I mean, this happened. You say it happened less than a year ago. So go to the police now. There's no statute of limit. You're within the boundaries. I don't know. It is Miami. I imagine this kind of shit happens all the time down there. So maybe the statute of limitations in Miami is like 2 weeks. If you don't get the police report in 2 weeks. Herm Edwards, football coach, former football NFL defensive back. Herm Edwards is trending. He is the Arizona State University head coach. The NCAA, he's trending because the NCAA has now forced out 10 of Herm Edwards' assistants since last summer in the wake of an investigation into the Sun Devils' alleged recruiting violations. So basically everybody that works for Herm Edwards has been fired from their job by the NCAA or in the wake of convictions, I guess, or the investigation by the NCAA. Yet Herm Edwards is still there and he's trending because everybody's going, Get him out of here. There is no way that everyone on your staff can be doing something and you didn't know anything about it. And the other thing is that Herm Edwards, I don't think of Herm Edwards as being a necessarily terrible coach, but ASU sucked. So they were doing all this cheating and they still suck. All right. Barry Manilow. The Manilow is trending. Barry Manilow is trending alongside Peter Frampton. Why? Because Barry Manilow is now demanding that his music be taken off of Spotify. Of course, this is in support of Neil Young demanding his catalog be removed from Spotify so long as Spotify continues to leave up Joe Rogan podcast that he believes spreads misinformation about COVID. Neil Young took a stand. Neil Young is now off Spotify, and Neil Young's like, I don't care. Whatever. I don't know if you know this. I'm Neil Young. Pretty much, I achieved generational wealth status about 20, 30 years ago. So we're good. You can take me off Spotify, although I have been saying this is not a long view of the situation, because Spotify is the way that new generations now discover artists who are no longer necessarily relevant, artists that you don't see at the iHeart Music Awards, people, the greats, the classics, all of that stuff, of which Neil Young is certainly in that course. So how is my kid, my 12-year-old, who really likes classic rock, who's really into it, and he explores it, and he goes on, most of the stuff that he uses on our shared Spotify list, most of it's like crazy, weird hip hop that I have no idea. But on occasion, I'll see him, he'll like pull up some Black Sabbath, he'll pull up some Ozzy, he'll pull up some, he pulls up Beatles, he does all of that stuff. So I see it because I can see the music that he's listening to. And there's a very good chance that someone like my 12-year-old son would have at some point fallen into some Neil Young. He would have gotten into some. Maybe I would have exposed him to it. Maybe he would have liked the song. Maybe he would have been at home in his headphone, he'd make a playlist with that. That's not going to happen now for people like Neil Young. It's not going to happen. As long as you're not on Spotify, your catalog is pretty much going to be stagnant. Nobody new radio stations aren't really what they used to be. So it's not like some 12-year-old's going to be in the backseat of a car listening to a classic rock station with dad, and they're going to hear Heart of Gold. It's not going to happen. That is not going to happen, or at least you certainly can't bank on it. So this is taking the long view of things. This is going to be bad for the legacy of Neil Young and artists of his ilk who are following him and demanding that their stuff be taken off of Spotify. Yesterday, it was reported that Pearl Jam was considering doing that. Okay, that's a little bit different, but let's not kid ourselves. Pearl Jam is also an old person's music at this point. Pearl Jam is not, putting out any new number one. They could. Pearl Jam could still come back. Pearl Jam could still be relevant in some way, shape, or form. Foo Fighters are. So, but Pearl Jam was mentioned yesterday. There's been no word on whether or not Pearl Jam has made an ultimatum to the folks at Spotify. But today, Barry Manilow did. Barry at the Copacabana. Nobody listening to Spotify is. I didn't see the numbers. I don't know what the numbers are. Yesterday we talked about the streaming numbers for Neil Young and for Pearl Jam and all the other people who were being reported as considering stepping away from Spotify. I don't know what Barry Manilow's streaming numbers are. I don't know. I know that I love Spotify and I listen to Spotify all the time, and it's just such an amazing tool. Every single song in the world that you could ever. What was that song? Remember that song that went? And then you find out the song and you can go right to it. You can listen to it. It's on demand. It's, you pay your $10 a month and you have access to like every song in the world, essentially. Who's doing that for Barry Manilow? The people who love Barry Manilow, they got albums. Or over the last few years, their children and grandchildren have replaced their albums with CDs, right? My mom streams music. But my mom has always been cooler than, regular people her age. She's always been a little bit cooler, a little bit more advanced. My mom might look at some point to find a little Barry Manilow on the Spotify, and now she won't find it. It's not there. And also, to make things worse, Peter Frampton, a guy with one album. Frampton comes alive. That's it. That's it. Great album. That's a cool album. But again, it's like, what are the streaming numbers for Peter Frampton? And this, I shouldn't be bad-mouthing Peter Frampton because I like Peter Frampton. Peter Frampton and I, we follow each other on Twitter. I like Peter Frampton. But I don't think that's like really going to move the needle with Spotify. You know, Neil Young, Barry Manilow, and Peter Frampton. I don't. I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see it. I don't know if I'm glad to see it, but I'm pleased that Neil isn't out there on an island being the only one to take this stand. I don't necessarily, again, I don't think it's, if you're taking the long view of things, I don't think it's smart. Like if I was Neil Young's manager, I'd be like, yeah, man, I understand you're mad, but let's brainstorm some other things that you can do because this is going to hurt your legacy. Bette Midler? Is she going to be next? Is Bette Midler? Bette Midler, suddenly we're not going to be able to get any Bette Midler songs on. Boy, that's going to really affect grade school cheer competitions, right? When they can't just on demand pull up "Wind Beneath My Wings" for a bunch of 12-year-old girls to do whatever school thing they're going to. I don't know. Is Bette Midler next? You're damn right she's next because Bette Midler is also trending today. Not for this, though. Bette Midler is trending because, the governor, Jim Justice there in West Virginia, he has a response for Bette Midler. Leslie says, I think that it is more impactful in the long run. I think it's certainly impactful is the right word. I think it's impactful to Neil Young because he's not going to have new people discovering his music. I would agree with you. And I think the spirit of what you're trying to say is that there will have, whatever he's trying to accomplish will probably have more of the effect he's looking for in the long run. But I believe that's only if a lot of other people join him. If a lot of other people, if Pearl Jam joins him, if the Foo Fighters join him, if U2 joins him, there's a talk that, Bono is like, saber rattling now over this. If people join him, but if he's left out on an island with just him, Barry Manilow, and Peter Frampton, and it's only been a day, so we'll see. We will see. I'm sure that there'll be a lot of conversation among musical artists this weekend. You'll have guys. So let's get back to Bette Midler. Anyway, so Bette Midler criticized West Virginia. What did she say? Here, let me see if I can find exact. I don't want to. Bette Midler basically sent out a tweet that said that West Virginia was a bunch of inbred, meth addicted. Fill in your pejorative anywhere. It's not wrong. I mean, when I think of West Virginia, I don't really think. Come on, man. West Virginia. What happened? We used to be free and clear to make fun of West Virginia all we wanted, and now suddenly it's like, well, you're an elitist making fun of West Virginia. No, I just don't believe in incest, and I don't believe in making meth as a way to, Here, we'll find this. Nope, that's not going to be it. So she said that. So basically, Bette Midler went off on the state of West Virginia. So last night during the State of the State address, Governor Jim Justice from the great state of West Virginia, he did this very. Hey, what happened? Where'd that go? You guys, I'm sorry. There we go. Okay. He did this during the State of the State address to the people of West Virginia. And we're just such freaking undignified people. We just really are. Here you go. Here's the governor. Here's the governor of West Virginia with a response to Bette Midler.
Baby Dog tells Bette Midler and all those out there, kiss her honey.
Thanks. Thanks for showing a bulldog vag right there in the middle of your State of the State. So there you go. That's what we have. We are just such undignified people. We are. We being crass and being lowbrow has been normalized in the last 10 years. Never mind. I'm not going to go into it. I just believe, I like to believe that the people that we elevate to the highest offices, whether it's the governor of states, senators representing us in the United States Senate, president of the United States, I just like to believe that there's some degree of decorum in the way they comport themselves and the way and it's not, because it's been normalized to just be an asshole about everything. And this isn't a right or a left. This is, everybody's an asshole. There's this new commercial. It's another example of this sort of thing. There's this commercial that every day when I go out to run on my Audacity app that I listen to all my sports radio from around the country on. Whenever I go out for my run, there is a drop-in commercial. Is it Slim Jims or Tabasco sauce or whatever? It's a commercial for something, and this major American product in their commercials, their tagline is. Again, it's something like their tagline is now, it's really effing hot, or it's this shit's hot, or whatever it is. It's something really crass. And it's something that 10 years ago, that copy would never have been approved because there was some dedication to the idea that things that are put out for mass consumption, at least on the level of commercialism, needs to be not stupid. Let's stop dumbing everything. Get a Slim Jim. It's fucking hot. And then they bleep it out. And it's funny because it's so crap. It's not funny anymore. It's just tired. It ain't wired. It's tired. And you get a governor of West Virginia. He's dragging his dog. He's a serious man. The state of the state was a very serious. West Virginia is a shithole. West Virginia is a shithole state. And maybe Bette Midler shouldn't have said what she said. And I'm certain that the governor of that state, that shithole state, could probably have been in the right to respond to Bette Midler's criticisms of that state. But I don't need to see him in what is supposed to be one of the most serious moments in his duties as governor, addressing the state, giving the state of the state address. Again, bulldog vag. He just picked up his dog. I'm not a serious person, but look at my dog's asshole. Bette Midler. We're not serious people. We're not serious people. We get what we deserve. It's not him. It's not him. It is not. I mean, it's him. He executed it. It's not him so much as it's us, because we're okay with that. I like the guy that showed the bulldog vag. I'm voting for the bulldog vag guy. It's us. It's always us. It's we the people. We elect these clowns and then we embolden them to be as crass and as ridiculous and ignorant as, you know why? Because we are crass and we are ignorant and they's just like us. Oh, Pugs, now you're getting mad. I'm not getting mad. I'm not mad. You can't be mad. You can't be mad about it, because if you're mad about it, then you end up, being a crazy person. And I am just sort of this close to being a crazy person, but I'm not there yet. Stop it. Governor of West Virginia grabbing his dog. Hey, did you have to cut something about the poor education level in your state so that you had time to show your dog's vagina on TV? How about the meth crisis? How about the opioid crisis in your state? Because, it leads the league in all of those categories. Did you have to cut something about what you're doing to stop that pandemic in order to show your dog's vag? We're not serious people. He's not a serious person. And quite frankly, I don't like his name. His name is Jim Justice. I don't think he's qualified to be governor. I think people voted for him because his last name is Justice. That's just me. I could be wrong. Okay, what else is trending today as we wind down the show? Actually, we're not really winding down the show. Yesterday we went a full extra hour doing our little... after we, folks, just for you who might be tuning in now, after we do the rundown of categories of things that are trending, I do a little behind the scenes where I then and only then I jump into the chat room and I address some of the things that you had to say. So if you have any comments about any of these stories that we're covering, I'll get to them just after the show. And then, we'll sort of rehash the stories again. It's like a rerun, except this time I'm directing my attention towards you, the fine viewer, the fine listener, viewer, whatever. I don't even know what I'm doing here. I really don't. First cat is trending. The Biden's got a cat. Cool. Cat's name is Willow. The cat joins they got a badass dog. I don't know, Major, German Shepherd, badass dog. So the countdown begins to when Major, the first dog, eats Willow, the first cat. They got a cat. Meet Willow, the new first cat. Joe and Jill Biden welcome to the White House a cat. But because he can't just be a dog person, because when you're a dog person, then you're offending the cat people. Oh, shut up. Everyone knows you're either a dog or a cat person. You people who have both dogs and cats, you're schizophrenic. Nor'easter. Here we go. This is the only thing they're going to be talking about on the news all weekend long. Don't expect to hear anything about anything else, because all of the East Coast media elites are going to be inconvenienced this weekend by a snowstorm. So when they get on the camera, all they're going to be covering is how inconvenient it is to live in Boston today. How inconvenient it is to live in a nice, beautiful 10,000 square foot mansion in Connecticut today. How inconvenient it is to drive from your Upper East Side. It's going to be that. It's going to be the East Coast bias because there's snow about to fall in New York, everywhere from New York to Connecticut. Remember, we covered it a couple of days ago. They were calling it a cyclobomb or a bomb cyclone or something like that. Now they're back to calling it what it's always been called, a nor'easter. A major nor'easter developing off the coast of New England this weekend could bring more than a foot of snow to most of Connecticut, and blizzard warnings has been issued for New London County. The blizzard warning for New London County will be in effect from 7 p.m. Friday to 7 p.m. Saturday, and winter storm warnings have been issued for the entire state. The governor has asked people to stay off the roads and said, depending on the severity of the storm, cars could be kept off roads as well. Connecticut Department of Transportation Commissioner Joe, I don't care about this. We don't care. We don't live there. I can't imagine that there's anybody in the chat room who's going to be affected by this. Although actually there is one friend that I see pop in from time to time who's out there in Boston. And then there's one in New York too from time to time. So there you go. New York City will be affected. The storm is expected to, here, I'm looking at this now. I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to look at the map. Yeah, okay, so it looks like it's going to whack the hell out of Connecticut, New York, Boston, and then it looks like the storm will go all the way down through Washington, D.C., and then it'll move out to sea. Although it looks like it's starting from the sea. I don't know. At any rate, blizzard conditions are expected. That means sustained wind or frequent gusts to at least 35 miles per hour or greater. That's what a blizzard condition is considered. Falling and blowing snow will reduce visibility to almost zero. Blizzard warning is issued for winter storms with sustained or frequent winds of 35 miles per hour or more, or higher with considerable falling or blowing snow that reduce visibility to a quarter mile or less. This according to the National Weather Service. Yeah, so it looks like 30 inches. They've got 30 inches of snow being predicted for most of Connecticut. And then as you drop down, we're talking about just a foot. Looks like New York City is just going to get a foot. Well, I can't wait to hear how this affects Anderson Cooper. I don't like the East Coast bias. I don't like it. I don't. Just saying. Also trending weather-wise. You know what? Now you're going to get my Great Lakes bias. Now you're getting mine, because also trending right now is lake effect. That's right. Dangerous travel conditions are reported in Chicago because lake effect snow hits part of the area. NBC News is covering it live. And I could make you watch video, but I'm not going to, because I'm only going to dabble in the world of regional bias. Minnie Mouse is trending. Here we go. This is such a dumb culture war thing. Oh my God. Well, people don't really know about bills and they don't like the minutia of governance. So why don't we just get them all riled up about Minnie Mouse not wearing pants? That's what the culture wars are. The culture wars. Every time you watch somebody on TV and they tell you something like, well, we'll do this story. Minnie Mouse, she's wearing a pantsuit now like Hillary Clinton. Be mad about that. Because the old Minnie Mouse that you grew up with, oh, stop it. That's not an important thing. And anybody sitting there watching it who goes, God damn, I'm sick of these people putting pants on animated rodents. If you're that person, you're a fucking moron, okay? Stop being ginned up by these stupid non-stories. Minnie Mouse is trending because people are irate. What was the other one? There was another stupid ass. Oh, the M&M thing. Shut up. Yeah, it's irritating. It is. It's irritating that M&M Company actually last week, they indulged the so-called woke mob who demanded that there be more whatever. more. Why is it clear that these M&Ms are male and female? Why is there no trans M&M? Or whatever the argument was. It's a stupid one. It doesn't deserve any airtime. It doesn't deserve any of your time. And yet we talked about it for days. And don't blame me. I just talk about what's trending. I will give you my argument when we discuss it. But it was trending, so we talked about the M&Ms thing. But my God, there are certain news companies, there are certain news channels that just dedicated entire blocks of prime time to sexy M&Ms. M&Ms, are they too sexy? Well, now we got another one because it works, because they trigger us. They get, again, man, the Ukraine thing, that is so complicated, man. That is like what? The infrastructure bill, oh God, numbers, oh, that ain't good. So how do you keep people sitting in front of their TV through a commercial break? They're putting pants on Minnie Mouse. They're turning her into a lesbian. That's how you get people. That's how you get, that's news as entertainment, not news as a public service, not news as information so that we can have an informed voting. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it. The world's most famous female mouse is getting a new outfit. Minnie Mouse will soon be changing into a smart blue pantsuit, swapping out her traditional red polka dot dress while keeping her iconic bow. The new look was designed by Stella McCartney. That's Paul's daughter. That's a Beatle daughter. The new look was designed by Stella McCartney to celebrate 30 years of Disney. By the way, Stella McCartney is like one of the most successful and one of the biggest female designers going, and she has been for years. Do you think she got that position legitimately, or do you think that maybe that she's a McCartney got some of her designs when she was 15 seen by certain people that, you know, someone just as talented or more so talented would never get? So, but whatever. I don't know. I'm not big on women's clothing. Is she good? She might be. Does she make nice dresses? Probably. I don't know. I just think that, you know, there's probably a little bit of, you know who her father is. Let's take a meeting with her. Maybe at the Christmas party, her dad'll show up. The new look was designed by Stella McCartney to celebrate 30 years of Disneyland's Paris resort. Despite the change being just a temporary one, it has been met with a mixed reaction online from Disney fans. First, if you're a grown-up Disney so my partner, who I love dearly, is a huge Disney fan. God love Kelly. God love her. She loves Disney. Her beautiful and talented daughter, McKenna, I think she was like some kind of a Disney ambassador and influencer doing like, you know, Instagram and videos for YouTube about Disney. God love them. They're women. If you're a man my age and you're still into Disney, you need to be on a list somewhere. You need to be watched by the local authorities. That's all I'm saying. Yes, I do. Disney seems to be the kind of thing that, you know, a mom would be into, or that young girls would be into, or even young boys. That's fine. But honestly, if you're a boy over the age of 12 and you're still into Mickey and haven't already discovered Bugs Bunny to be the superior rodent, are rabbits rodents? Why not? Why not? For the sake of this. Bugs Bunny, seriously, Bugs Bunny versus Mickey Mouse. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Mickey Mouse is a pussy. I'm sorry to put it so blunt, but Mickey Mouse is, Mickey Mouse. Has Mickey Mouse ever done anything funny? I mean, wasn't Donald Duck the funny one? Wasn't Goofy the funny one? Mickey Mouse wasn't funny. Mickey Mouse wasn't interesting. You know what Mickey Mouse was? Mickey Mouse was the Jerry Seinfeld of the whole Disney experience. You know, Jerry Seinfeld wasn't the funny one. Kramer was the funny one. George was the funny one. Elaine was the funny one. That's Mickey Mouse is the Jerry Seinfeld of his crew. Donald was Kramer. And you always wanted to hear what Donald had some crazy thing going on all the time. Donald was fun. Not Mickey. Bugs, on the other hand. Bugs is a comic genius. To this day, Bugs Bunny is one of the funniest damn characters ever created. All right, but we won't get into that. So, if you're a grown male, certainly if you're a grown male above 40 years of age, if you're still a Disney person, yeah, it's a little odd. And if you're a boy and you're over 12 years old and you're still into Disney, you're young, so I'm not going to hang any kind of label on you, but I'm going to look at you side eye. Be like, okay, kid, can I introduce you to Bugs Bunny? Maybe a Woody Woodpecker. Something. Minnie Mouse will soon be changing into a smart blue pantsuit, swapping out a traditional red polka dot dress. The look was designed by Stella McCartney. Despite the change, people are going nuts. Minnie will debut the blue tuxedo in Disney's Paris Entertainment Resort from March 2022, where she will wear it in time for Women's History Month. I believe historically women wore dresses. I don't know how women don't have to wear dresses. This is not like all women wear dresses and that's it. Final. I want to see some legs, baby. No, but women's history. Women can wear pants. Does anybody have a problem with women wearing pants? Is this honestly something that we are freaked out by? Women wear pants. Pants aren't a man thing. Well, I guess by today's standards, dresses aren't a woman thing either. Okay, so look, they put Mickey in a dress. You're going to argue about that. Now we got a whole other kind of thing that we're arguing about. But Minnie Mouse they make women's pantsuits. Women have been wearing pantsuits for the new look. Well, we talked about that. This new take on her signature polka dots makes Minnie Mouse a symbol of progress for a new generation. Oh, stop it. Stop it. Walt Disney Studios has moved in recent years to boost its on-screen diversity, setting films in new locations and casting characters from a wider range of backgrounds. That's fine. That's great. That's not a problem at all. Disney wants to start cranking out some stuff that has, some people of color represented. They want to do that. That's fine, man. Who's got a problem with that? Racists, right? Racists have a problem with that. Yeah, well, okay, but since when do we entertain the ideas of racists? Since about 2016. I guess you're right. Walt Disney Studios has moved in recent years to boost its on-screen diversity, setting films in new locations and casting characters from a wider range of backgrounds. In its upcoming adaptation of Snow White, the studio is casting a Latina actress, Rachel Zegler, in the film's starring role. Ah, yes, that traditional Latino name of Zegler. She's probably... Okay, so I'm guessing Rachel Zegler is about as Jewish a name as you could come up with. That is a Jewish name. So I'm guessing Rachel Zegler's mom is to some degree Latino and her father's Jewish. And that's fine. I'm just pointing it out. I'm just working through this out in real time. And I don't have a problem. I have no problem at all with Snow White being a girl who's half Jewish and half Latino. And if you do have a problem with that, go move to West Virginia. The governor will show you his dog's vagina. Go ahead. Have some fun with that. Because you're ridiculous. But online reaction to Minnie Mouse's outfit change has been overwhelmingly amazing. While some have welcomed the mouse's sartorial rebrand, others despaired at her departure from the classic ruby red colors. and her well-known dress. Well, that's because we don't like change. Nobody likes change. When we get older, we get slower. When we get older, we recognize that the things that we have always thought to be truisms aren't necessarily true, and that they were only true for us in our specific generation. New generations come along and they redefine what was once thought to be true. Okay. So when we get older and we see things that aren't exactly the same as they were when we were, we have a difficult time. That is fear. Something is triggered in us when we don't recognize something, when we can't take it for granted, when we can't go, oh, obviously the pink polka dot dress is Minnie. When that's different, we go, wait, that's different. Wait, different. Fear kicks in. Oh my God, I hate it because I'm scared of it because it's changing and it reminds me that I'm getting older and that the world is changing and that I'm no longer as relevant as maybe I want. That's the process. That's basically the process that goes into all this nonsense. Oh God, I can't believe I'm going to say this woman's name. Conservative U.S. commentator Candace Owens criticized the makeover as an attempt to make Minnie Mouse more masculine. I promise you, Candace Owens said this while wearing pants. She said this while wearing pants. You know she did. Candace Owens doesn't go everywhere in a dress. What are you kidding me? Conservative U.S. commentator Candace Owens criticized the makeover as an attempt to make Minnie Mouse more masculine. See, that's what I mean. That's they're trying to trigger you. That's not at all what this is about. Because, women wear pants. Doesn't mean that every woman that wears... You know what? Every time you see a woman today on the street, she's wearing pants, call her out. What are you, a lesbian? What are you, trying to be a man? It's ridiculous. But they know that they can say these things because you're sitting in your easy chair and you've had a rough day and you hate your boss and your job sucks. And you know what? You are so close. The emotion that is most accessible to people on the outside is anger. Love is a difficult one, because expressing love is awkward. Because what if that love goes unrequited? What if telling somebody that they like something about them doesn't get the response in return that you hope to get? That's difficult. But anger is always right there at the surface. So that's what they're doing here. That's what Candace Owens, that's where she lives. She lives in the spot that is going to tweak that anger in you that is right there. That's what ginning us up is all about. And it ain't just Candace Owens. It ain't. It's also Don Lemon. It's also Rachel Maddow. It's definitely Tucker Carlson. He is the master. It's all of these people who make millions of dollars. How are we going to stir up the rubes tonight is probably the question that all of these people ask in their pre-production meetings. Later in the segment, the host jokingly compared the outfit choice with former U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, who was known for wearing pantsuits. Oh, that's what this is about. Oh, now I see. So Minnie Mouse, for a limited time, is going to be wearing pants. Not forever. They didn't change her forever. It's just for this thing that's happening in Paris. Paris, one of the most fashion-forward places on earth, have decided that for this anniversary of the Disney park in Paris, they would redesign her outfit. Why? Because that's what they do in Paris. Because Paris is like the fashion center of the world. And it's just temporary. Stop it. Yeah, Bonnie's right. Minnie does. Minnie's still got her big ass hair bow. She's, All right. Yeah, we're gonna probably run a little bit long today, folks. You don't mind, do you? It's Friday. We're not gonna be around. We're not gonna be around for a couple of days, so why not hit these up? Mustang is trending. Here's why Mustang is trending, and I won't bore you with this stuff, because the IMSA road racing circuit is coming back, and the Ford Mustang has decided to jump into it. What is the IMSA road race? Well, I could talk about this for hours. It just so happens that my uncle designed one of the most successful race cars of all time that dominated the IMSA circuit back in the late 80s and early 90s. It is, of course, the red, white, and blue Nissan number 83, driven by Jeff Brabham and sometimes Chip Robinson. That car dominated the IMSA racing circuit to a degree that they actually had to cancel the circuit. That car that my uncle designed won just about every race, beating Porsche, Jaguar, Toyota, Ford. All of the other manufacturers couldn't compete. So IMSA kind of went away, and it changed. They said, Nissan's too good. This car that they build is too good. Nobody can hang with it. Nobody wants to watch a series on ESPN where the same damn car wins every race. And this was early 90s. So it kind of went away. It lost its TV deal, and then it didn't, but their brain IMSA is coming back. And what that is prototype manufacturer of sports cars. So what is a prototype? It's, you know what? I'm not going to go into it. Anyway, Mustang is now involved in IMSA for the first time. Mustang's got this badass Ford prototype sports car that the Mustang's getting a lot. Pugs, since when are you a race car guy? I've always been this particular genre of race car guy. If you don't believe me, you can ask my friend Mike. You can ask who used to go to the races with me. You can ask my friend Aaron, who lives here. Aaron, I've been talking about this damn car for 20 years that I've known Aaron, because Aaron's a race car driver. He's a race car guy. The car's in the Smithsonian, don't you know? It's the winningest race car. It's the winningest, I don't know, it's something race car of all time. So IMSA's coming back, and there's a badass Ford Mustang coming in. These are the cars that run like the 24 Hours of Le Mans, 24 Hours of Daytona, and then it's a street series. Very cool cars. I would suggest that you look up the IMSA Nissan 83 car. And my uncle built that car. Bob Vila is trending. Remember Bob Vila, this old house? Is Bob Vila still alive? Yeah, Bob Vila should still be alive. He's not that old, right? He wouldn't be that old. Why is Bob Vila trending? Well, because Bob Vila has put out his list of things. I don't know things. I guess is it like Oprah? But in particular, his list of the best eco-friendly laundry detergents of 2022. So if you're in the business of spending $40 on a jug of laundry detergent, Bob Vila's got a list for you. I'm not going to waste your time with it. These are all the organic laundry detergent. What? It's not going to clean anything, right? I mean, there's no. It's eco-friendly. Yeah, I'm just going to use Tide. Tide works fine. It's like $8 for a jug, but this one's $40 for the same jug. Yeah, that's why I'm not going to pay any attention to it. Thank you, Bob. Bob, I like it. I like you, Bob. You're a good guy. I used to love this old house. It was this old house, and then wasn't it New Yankee Workshop? I can't build anything, folks. I don't know a hammer from a screwdriver, from a wrench. I don't know anything about that stuff, but I found those shows so soothing. And this is that time of year. It is the time of year where I will traditionally on Sunday afternoons lay on the couch and watch things like Antiques Roadshow, maybe watch the dude with the fro paint something, watch Bob Vila fix a house. You know why? Because there is nothing more comforting than it being a cold afternoon in February. There's no football. This weekend we got football, but soon after the Super Bowl. So call it Bob Vila season. Bob Vila season is at the end of Super Bowl, the end of the football season, the coldest months of the year, and before I'm really interested in the NCAA tournament. So there's probably like a 3-week period there where on Sundays, let's watch a little Antiques Roadshow. And then I'm asleep within 15 minutes on the couch. It's wonderful. It's just wonderful. Little Debbie is trending. You know, Little Debbie candies. Aren't those like dollar store candies or cakes? I mean, like, I don't know that. I think that like Big Cupcake, Hostess, and the like, I think that they've sort of, can you find a Little Debbie at a Kroger? Can you? Or is it all, like I said, is it all Big Cupcake? But Little Debbie, I think I see Little Debbie's at Dollar Trees and stuff like that. And I like Little Debbie's, gotta be honest. I got no problem. I got no problem with a box of Little Debbie's for $1. I do now, of course, because I'm on a diet. can't have Little Debbie's. But they're trending because Little Debbie's is now combined. This is trending. This was trending pretty high. Little Debbie has combined with West Michigan Ice Cream Creamery, Hudsonville Ice Cream, to create these new Little Debbie ice creams. It's basically just the regular Hudsonville ice cream mixed with Little Debbie's. So it's not a big deal. Although it's, probably pretty good. Although it's already really been done, right? I mean, don't we already have like chocolate brownie ice cream, chocolate cake ice cream? Here's the thing though. Hudsonville, you know how, help me out here. What is the kick-ass ice cream that we have here in Texas that we're all like, this is the greatest ice cream in the world? What is it? Whatever it is. You know what it is? It's the good stuff. They had a recall a couple of years ago and the entire state almost imploded because they couldn't get their Bluebell. That's it. Bluebell ice cream. Thank you, Jennifer. So here in Texas, we got Bluebell ice cream. Well, over in the Midwest, Hudsonville is pretty good ice cream, especially in that part of Michigan. There's a Hudsonville Creamery would that be Southampton or something? I don't know, but there's always a crazy line. Oh boy, here we go. Okay, so yikes. I don't even know if I want to get. I just talked about ice cream. I just talked about Minnie Mouse. I don't know if I want to get into this, but why not, right? Okay, so gender is trending. Gender is trending because the Chicago schools training seminars say that sex is not rooted in biology and that it tells teachers to hide gender pronouns from parents. And people are going crazy about this. I'll just give you a little piece of it because I don't want to get into this. Teachers, man. Teachers. I feel so bad for I feel bad for teachers. I feel bad for cops. Nurses have been shit on a lot the last couple of years. Oh my goodness. Chicago Public Schools mandated a teacher training program that declared sex a social construct and threatened punishment if faculty didn't use students' preferred pronouns. Multiple teachers told Fox News Digital. Yes, this is a Fox News story. This is it's probably something that isn't even going to fly, but they know that what's going on in Chicago schools is going to gin up people in the panhandle of Florida. For whatever, Chicago schools, panhandle of Florida. See, that's why we live here. With all the alligators. A 104-slide PowerPoint presentation echoed a number of left-leaning talking points that have surfaced in trainings across the country titled Supporting Transgender, Non-Binary, and Gender Non-Conforming Students. The presentation argued that everyone has multiple overlapping identities and that sex is assigned at birth. Quoting now, gender and sex are socially constructed, meaning they've been created and enforced by the people in society. One slide from the presentation reads, one side. I read that wrong. One side from the presentation reads, like that's what that means. Meaning they've been created and enforced by people in society, one slide of the presentation reads. The notes claim that the concept of gender and sex are actually not rooted in biology. Instead, they are socially constructed, which means they have been, I've got tired head. Next. It might be right. That might be right. Might be full of shit. I just know that does not appeal to, it does not in any way, shape, or form. Me talking about that particular story does nothing other than I couldn't give the minutia of the story because I don't know. Is that true? Is sex and gender a social construct? Somebody who knew how to use big words said it, but I don't know. I don't know. You know what I think? I think you ought to just be nice to people. I think you ought to just be nice to people and not be a dick when somebody decides to do something that seems a little bit strange to you. Just not everything is supposed to jibe with your way of seeing the world. That's how I see it. Whatever. Oh, hey, that guy over there. Why are you calling him a guy? It's a they. Oh, It is? Is that what you, okay, cool. Whatever. Okay. They over there, that's not that hard to do. It's not that hard to do. It's fine to be mistaken. It's fine to it's fine to do. I can't believe you mislabeled him. Them. I can't believe you mislabeled them. Come on, stop yelling at people. There are enough of us out there who don't want to have this war. There are enough of us out there who are fine with it. You do you, man. You tell me, if you want me to call you something, I'll call you whatever you want. You know, I just have a basic level of respect for my fellow human being that I don't want to get into a fight. But you're not a boy, you're a girl. Or you're not a girl, you're a boy. Oh, God, why do you feel the need to go at this? Is an individual who is thinking something that you disagree with. That's fine. You don't have to make them see shit the way you do. You don't. They see it that way. That's part. Everybody talks about liberty and freedom and all this, except when it's something that they don't get, except when it's something that doesn't jive with what it is that they've become accustomed to. Then suddenly, you must conform to what. I don't care. I don't care. And I think this story is so overblown. I said this yesterday. I don't know. Are there? I asked my kid's 12 years old. I was like, do you have any trans kids in your school? And he's like, no. But the way it's presented, the way that it's hyped by the media, it's like every classroom is now 20% transsexual trans students. I'm trying to be respectful. I'm not trying to be rude. I don't think that's the case. And if it was the case, fine. If it was the case, if it was an everyday thing, then maybe we have to think harder about it. But the only reason that we're focusing on it now is because, again, it gets close to that surface emotion, the anger. It's a good way to sort of poke somebody and get them to be angry. What? This is different. That kid's different than what I expect him to be. Stop it. Just move along with your life. Just worry about your own kids. Worry about, it's not a big deal. Although I say that, and I saw a trans person the other day. I personally, I can go months at a time without seeing a trans person. Yet, if I watch CNN, MSNBC, or Fox News, they make it seem like there is a trans person waiting outside of my house every day. It's just not happening for me. That's just not something that, if you watch television commercials or TV shows, they're everywhere, and that's fine. Representation is important, but don't misrepresent. Don't act like, And again, it's fine. I don't care. I'm a guy of my age. I come from where I come from. I have passed the mantle. I understand that I am no longer at the epicenter of what society deems to be the cultural norm. I get that. I'm going to be one of those old guys who still dresses cool. I am not going to wear the same haircut for 40 years. I don't have hair, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm gonna try and I'm gonna recognize. Okay, I'll be like 65. I don't know. I never thought of wearing eyeshadow and high heels, but apparently that's the norm now. So here we go. We'll see. I don't know if I'll go that far, but you know what I'm saying? I'm not against change. I understand. And I don't want to be a fuddy-duddy. I don't ever want to be a fuddy-duddy. I accept the idea that the world is going to change in ways that I just cannot understand, that does not jive with my personal life experience, that are new concepts, new ideas. That's called progress. That's how the world changes. There's an old guy who owned slaves who couldn't imagine a world where, what? You mean they're allowed to go to school? That guy at some point, he had to change. The world changes. I don't know. Maybe my understanding of sexual identity is not what the understanding of sexual identity is going to be in 20 years. I'm open to that concept. It's not going to be what I understand to be truth because it's not going to jive with my personal life experience, but it's going to be somebody else's truth, and I have to respect that. We all have to respect that. Oh, and speaking of, this is a weird, is weird the right word? This is an interesting story. Not weird. Pugs, you got to stop applying those old terms to things that you just... I know. This is an interesting story. Michael Phelps is trending today. I'm not even, to be honest with you, I don't even know why Michael Phelps is trending, because I don't know why he was initially trending, because I just started clicking around on a whole bunch of different Michael Phelps links, and I found this story, and I did not know anything about this. Okay, so Michael Phelps is trending with someone named Taylor Leanne Chandler. Now, Taylor Leanne Chandler is an ex-girlfriend of Michael Phelps. They were together for a while. She's much older. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't misrepresent it. I don't know that they were together for a while. I just, as a matter of fact, I think, now that I remember what I was reading, they weren't together all that long. But they were together. They were a couple. Michael Phelps, America's most decorated Olympic athlete in history, right? The half man, half fish. He was. Oh, here's why I was initially trending, because he gave an interview recently to some magazine, and he was asked directly about his past relationship with Taylor Leanne Chandler. And he said a couple of things that Taylor Leanne Chandler didn't like to hear. That she thought that he's a hypocrite. He's lying. That's not entirely true. Now, we all have he said, she said situations with people that we've been in relationships with. But what I found interesting about this was that Taylor Leanne Chandler is a trans person. She was a male swimmer. I'm sorry, I'm trying. At some point, this person was a male. And well, at birth, Pugs, that's what it said on the birth certificate. Okay, so I got that. But then at some point, they changed as a human being, and they became a female, trans female. Okay. And Michael Phelps was in a relationship with this, which I didn't know. Doesn't that seems like that would have been a really big story. That seems like, how did that get past Fox News? How did that not turn into, maybe it was, maybe I just missed it. Maybe I was just like, yeah, but I don't know how I'd have missed that, because that's intriguing. That's something, I'm a bit of a muckraker when it comes to finding out celebrity dirt and stuff. That would have been something interesting. I would have read about, wouldn't have been judgmental. I just would have gone, what do you think of that? Michael Phelps was in a relationship with a woman who was a man, and that was a thing. So anyway, here, I'll just read you this quick little story that I found here. Apparently, when was this? This was 2000. So this goes all the way back to 2014. And these are some so this was even before the whole trans thing was mainstreamed. This was, he was whatever. There are all these text messages between the two of them that became public. And I never heard about this. I never heard about these text messages between Michael Phelps and his trans girlfriend. Again, I'm just intrigued. This is like a story that's like, ooh, tell me more. No judgment. Tell me more. Shortly after Michael Phelps was arrested for DUI back in September, this goes back to 2014, it was revealed that he had been spending time with a new girlfriend just before his brush with the law. Taylor Leanne Chandler was with Phelps the night of his arrest and is rumored to have dated the Olympian for several months prior. The relationship became a subject of tabloid interest due to the couple's age difference. Phelps is 29, Chandler is 41. Now, however, it seems there's an even more unexpected element to the May-December romance. In a recent interview with Radar Online, Chandler revealed that she never told Phelps that she was born a man named David Roy Fitch. So he didn't know. So that's, again, like I say, no judgment. If you didn't know. Although, I of course Googled this person, and I looked at her, and just go ahead, just go ahead, and I'm not gonna say anything. Go ahead, open up another window if you're listening online, and Google Taylor Chandler, Michael Phelps. Just do that so you get the right one. Taylor Chandler and Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps says that he didn't know that she was trans. He didn't know that she was previously. So just Just leave it at that. Just look at I mean, I looked at her. I looked at her and I thought, wow, she's got a rocking body. I can see how that. And then then I looked at her, and I looked at her, and I looked. I'm just saying. Just tell me. So Phelps is saying that I didn't know that she used to be a man. Just give her a look and tell me if you believe that. The relationship became a subject of tabloid interest due to the couple's age. Now, however, it seems there's more of an unexpected element in May-December romance. In a recent interview with Radar Online, Chandler reveals that she never told Phelps that she was born a man named David Roy Fitch. Honestly, she didn't need to tell him. She didn't need to tell him unless he's just really naive or just really... I was born with male genitalia with no testicles. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, okay. So what does that mean? That's I was born with male genitalia but no testicles, but I also have a uterus and no ovaries. Oh, so she's one of those. Oh, okay. All right. See, I'm just learning. Here's what I did. I read the text messages. And then I thought, ooh, we should explore this story online. We should explore this story together during the stream. Chandler adds that she began presenting as a female while still in her teens and later had surgery to become a woman. In the interview, Chandler also details how her passionate affair with Phelps began. Taylor says they met on Tinder. Why is Michael Phelps using Tinder? He's Michael Phelps. He should be able to get dates. Like, he should be beating them off with a stick. That was maybe a poor choice of words. Taylor says they met on Tinder back in August, and Phelps later invited her over to watch a Baltimore Ravens game. One thing led to another, and we made love during halftime. He didn't have to drug her like Chris Brown. He didn't have to do any of that stuff. That's pretty quick. You meet somebody on Twitter, they come over to you. Well, I guess it is Michael Phelps. Again, this is like the Chris Brown thing. Michael Phelps says, hey, want to come over and watch a Ravens game? I don't want to have sex with him, but I'll go watch a Ravens game at Michael Phelps' house. I just want to see Michael Phelps' house. I also hear he's got great weed. One thing led to another, and we made love during halftime. Later, we had sex again. The intimacy was amazing. It was the first time in my life someone had made me feel like a true woman. While Phelps is expected to complete rehab this week, Taylor says she's unsure if their relationship will continue. Okay, so this is where are the text messages? I had this whole thing on text messages. So this is going back, and recently she is trending today and Michael Phelps is trending today because he basically said that he never knew or whatever. And now she's saying that he did know. But then we just read a story from 2014 where she said he didn't know. So maybe she was protecting him back then. And then now whatever. I just thought that was interesting. Andrew Wiggins is trending today. Andrew Wiggins, of course, where's he at? He's at Golden State now. Yeah. Andrew Wiggins, huge bust. Not a huge bust, but kind of a bust. He was supposed to be, wasn't he the number 1 overall draft pick? I remember the Timberwolves. Andrew Wiggins was drafted number 1 overall out of Kansas, I think. Andrew Wiggins was drafted out of Kansas, number 1 overall by the Cavaliers. And then the Cavaliers used the pick of Wiggins and immediately traded him to the Timberwolves for Kevin Love. Yes, that's it. I just worked it through. NBA history is not my strongest thing, but I worked it through. So Andrew Wiggins, he played for the Timberwolves for a bunch of years. He was kind of underwhelming as a number 1 overall draft pick, and now I believe, yes, it is. I do know for a fact. Now I'm playing coy. He's on the Golden State Warriors. Why is Andrew Wiggins trending? Well, because he's having the best career or the best season of his career. As I said, a former number 1 draft pick. He's been certainly overwhelming. Not necessarily a bust, but not the number 1. I mean, he played with Joel Embiid, right? And Embiid did not go number 1. And Embiid has had, arguably a Hall of Fame career. I mean, Embiid is like really balling out. So comparatively, yeah. So Wiggins has been underwhelming. He is trending because he was named as a starter to the All-Star team, the NBA All-Star team. The NBA All-Star team, they do this in a really weird, stupid way now. They try to jazz it up. So there are 3 components to go into being chosen for the NBA All-Star team now. 50% is from fan voting. 25% is from media voting, and 25% is from the players voting, right? So Andrew Wiggins does not deserve to be a starter in the All-Star game. Some people even debate whether or not he's having a good season, not a great season, but some people are like, does he even deserve to be an All-Star? Who knows? But he's starting. And it's been revealed as to how Andrew Wiggins somehow started because of the three criteria, of the three voting blocks that go into making someone an NBA All-Star. Again, you've got the media 25, you got the players 25, and you got the fans 50. We talked about this yesterday. Never trust the fans. Never trust the great unwashed to get it right. Andrew Wiggins apparently led all voters, even though he's undeserving of the starting job, he led all voters because the Golden State Warriors went out and recruited a K-pop boy bander as their official team ambassador. And this K-pop guy went to all of his millions of K-pop fans who don't even watch the NBA and said, hey, y'all, vote for Andrew Wiggins for the All-Star game. Now he's on the All-Star game. The players didn't vote him. That 25% didn't get him in. The media certainly didn't vote him. That 25 didn't get him in. But the fans, 50% of the vote, the fans voted him a starter. And because the NBA weighs it slightly towards the fan vote, now you got Andrew Wiggins as an all-star starter, which, good for him. Once upon a time, Andrew Wiggins was supposed to be a basketball's next big thing. This was back in 2013. The Golden State Warriors still believe in Wiggins' talent. They traded guard D'Angelo Russell for the 6'8" wing during a 2020 trade deadline, blah, 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 blah. Okay, on Thursday night, Wiggins was named a starter for the Western Conference in the 2022 NBA All-Star Game. While the 26-year-old has been solid all season, he's had a good season. He's a controversial pick as a reserve, let alone as a starter. There were plenty of players who deserved a starting nod over him. Either Devin Booker or Chris Paul would have worked while they lead a Suns team that is currently the league's best by far. Jazz center Rudy Gobert, Wolves center Karl Anthony Towns, and teammate Draymond Green have a better starting case than Wiggins in the front court. And Luka Doncic and Donovan Mitchell also do in the backcourt. To understand why Wiggins was named an all-star starter, you need to first understand how the voting works. And then it goes into explaining. A K-pop star gave Andrew Wiggins a big social media vote push advantage. Bam Bam is his name. I don't know who Bam Bam is, but apparently he's got 25 million followers. So Bam Bam put out that, hey, you all, I know you don't watch NBA basketball and you don't even speak English, but how about you go over to this NBA All-Star voting site and vote for Andrew Wiggins to be and now we've got this. It's ridiculous. So what has to happen is that Andrew Wiggins will get the start, and then after the tip-off, they will immediately sub in somebody else. Because that's ridiculous. All right, that's about it. That's you know what? Let's do this quick thing. Let's look over and see what, if anything, is new that's trending. Because my cable went out. Well, it didn't go out. It's just been buffering for like the last 40 minutes, so I have no clue what's happening in this world. Let me see. Man, I'm hungry. You know what I had for dinner last night? I had a bowl of rice and Brussels sprouts. That ain't me. That ain't me. That ain't how I live. But it is now because I'm trying to lose weight. Let's see here. Oh God. How is this trending number one? I ignored this the entire show and it is still trending at number one. It's one of those hashtag Cash App Friday where they want you to like forward your Cash App handle. By the way, my Cash App handle is Pugscast. They want you to forward that and encourage other people to join Cash App. And then maybe they'll choose you to win like $100 or $500 to be immediately deposited into your Cash App. I fell for that bullshit for months. I did it every time. I did it multiple times a day. Cash App never gave me. You fine folks have, and I thank you. Thank you for the support. We are so close to making our bid this month. It's the end of the month. We're close. We're like $150 short of it. We're good. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. This show is entirely supported by you guys. Thank you so much. But it is the 28th, so this is always the weekend where I start to get a little. Oh boy. But we're fine. We're fine. Don't, you can support the show any way you want. You can do it if you can do it. If you're a moneyed person, if you have cash, you want to tip the bartender, that's me. I'm the bartender. Go ahead. You can use any of those links below. Willow is trending again. That's the cat. Pittsburgh is trending because they had a bridge collapse. Bette Midler is trending because the governor of West Virginia. We all talked about these things. Barry Manilow is trending. Chris Brown is trending. The Challenger is trending. Trevor Noah is trending. And I don't want to get into this. He responded to Joe Rogan. He did something that wasn't all that funny. It was, I don't know. There was something funny though. Nope, not going to go there. Not going to go there. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is trending, as is General Mark Miley. He-Man is trending. Kyle Allen has been cast as He-Man in the live-action Masters of the Universe film series. Cool. McCown, what's going on here? Did Josh McCown get a job? McCown is trending. Former NFL quarterback Josh McCown is in Houston today for a second interview. Okay, so he didn't get a job yet. Josh McCown. Sean Penn. Let's see why Sean Penn is trending. Sean Penn is trending. This is a new one. Sean Penn. Spicoli. Okay. Oh my God. Sean Penn with a very non-Sean Penn or non-expected Sean Penn hot take. Sean Penn says that cowardly jeans lead men to wear skirts. This is interesting. Let's process this in real time, shall we? Because I've not read this story. I don't know what this is about. Sean Penn is doubling down on his defense of traditional gender roles. In 2 separate interviews this month, the 2-time Academy Award winner and ex of Madonna made comments bemoaning his perception that men are becoming more feminine. I am in the club that believes that men in American culture have become wildly feminized, the 61-year-old told the UK-based publication, The Eye, in an interview ahead of the UK release of his new film Flag Day. I don't think that being a brute or having insensitivity or disrespect for women is anything to do with masculinity, or that it ever did. But I don't think that in order to be fair to women, we should become them. That's a very interesting take. From a hardcore lefty liberal. Sean Penn is a hardcore lefty socialist liberal. Interesting take. In a subsequent interview, the film star did with the Independent, another UK newspaper, this week. He dug his heels into the polarizing opinion, going even further in his critique of men who challenge gender norms. Quoting Sean Penn now, there are a lot of, I think, cowardly genes that lead to people surrendering their genes, spelt with a J, and putting on a skirt, he told the publication. Furthermore, he noted that the women in his life don't seem bothered by the patriarchy. I love it when a wealthy, entitled, rich guy in his 60s says, the women in my life, who are the women in your life? You were married to Madonna. Okay, you're not exactly speaking for the rank and file. He says, I have these very strong women in my life who do not take masculinity as a sign of oppression towards them. Penn's daughter, with Robin Wright, and Flag Day co-star Dylan Penn, 30 years old, was present for the interview, but reportedly acted distant and went quiet when, Dad, stop it, Dad. You got that response. Was quiet and reportedly went distant and stared into space while her father spoke on the subject. During the Independent interview, Penn also discussed his feelings about anti-vaxxers. Oh boy. All right. So he went all Fox News with one hot take, and now he's going to the other side. Here's what Sean Penn says about anti-vaxxers. Sometimes people take their privilege and freedom as a right to be an anti-citizen, Sometimes people take their privilege and freedom as a right to be anti-citizen, to be failed citizens, he said. Those who will search out the kind of bogus science that would give them legitimacy when it comes to not being vaccinated, he said. Representatives for Sean Penn did not immediately return the Post's request for comment, but there you have it. Sean Penn going all over. Hey, look, you know what? I haven't really thought about what it is that he said there, but I don't want to comment on that. What I want to comment, what I found interesting is that in that very moment, in the story that we just read, Sean Penn pretty much exemplifies how we should all be. Not specifically on those issues, I'm saying, but all over the place. There were some things that he believed in that article that would certainly fall into the category of the Fox News far right. And then there were some other things that he said in there that would fall into the category of the far left MSNBC. That's how we all should be to some extent. We shouldn't just fall in line and thoughtlessly believe everything that's spoon-fed to us because of the column that we're in. We need to take all of these issues and go, okay, I believe a little bit of this. I believe a little bit of that. That's how we get in the middle. Again, I'll say it again. I say it all the time. There's crazy over here. There's crazy over here. The vast majority of us are right here in the middle. If we would only acknowledge that we are in the middle, because a lot of us in the middle, we're just putting on the costume and going to work. We're just pretending like we're on that side. We're just pretending like we're on that side. When the rubber hits the road, as they say, and we actually have to think about how we feel about these issues, the vast majority of us are just normal, rational people who have all of these different, confused, and conflicting views on the world. That's why the world is complicated. When you join one team, whether it be on the far right or on the far left, when you join one team, you're basically saying, I don't want to use my brain anymore. I'm just going to do whatever they tell me to do because, for the most part, I like to hang out with these people. Or, for the most part, I like to hang out with these people. I don't know, the specifics of what Sean Penn said, whatever. I don't know. He's a 61-year-old guy, I don't know. There you go. That's about it. All right. Doesn't look like there's anything else. Let me reboot this so I can. All right, I'm going to jump into the chat room now. You guys are going to if you enjoy the show, if you enjoy these ranting hot takes on all the things that are trending in the world, then the fact that I put off going out for my afternoon run is going to benefit you because my shows are going to be longer and longer because as soon as I finish here, I have to go out and I have to run. So the show is supposed to end at 2:00, but I'm finding excuses to keep it going a little bit longer. Why not? All right, so let's jump into the chat room. This is where we're going to, once again, you can support the show. End of the month, I always say that. There you go. Draw your attention down there. Anything, tip your bartender, whatever it is. Whatever you can do, it helps us get over. It helps us continue to do these shows. I appreciate it. You know what? I realized I just said that. I realized I just said that like 10 minutes ago. And now, Pugs, now you sound like you're begging. You are such a pussy. I know. I'm not a pussy. I just, it's going to be one of them stressful weekends. We'll make it. We always do. And even if we didn't, that's okay. I've been behind on bills before. You should see my credit rating. Trust me, it wouldn't be the first time. We'll be fine. We'll keep doing these because I love doing these shows. All right, let's jump into the chat rooms. Leslie says, hiya, Leslie. You amazing person. Clovis. Hey, Pugs. Hey, Clovis. Byron, my man. What's up? Edward Silla, you didn't fix the broken retainer. Yeah, this thing right here. Ed Silla. He doesn't like this. This drives him nuts. And I could very easily fix it. But I also know that it drives him nuts. So passive aggressive much? Maybe. But it doesn't bother me. It's fine. It works fine. It's sorry, Ed. Ed's the boss. I shouldn't passive aggressively take shots at the boss. Clovis says he is a self-professed libertarian, correct? Talking about James Parker. Oh boy, do I have a hot take on James Parker's libertarianism. But I'll leave it at this. Yes, Clovid, he is a self-professed libertarian. Oh, there goes the damn dog. Leslie Gladback, it was trending this morning in the Yahoo top story. I'm sorry, Leslie, I don't know what you're referring to there. That's It's too long ago. My brain has been spinning for 2 hours now. Here is a good little rule of thumb though, because I do go back and look in the chat room. If you are commenting in real time, when you do post something like that, knowing that 2 hours later I'll come back and revisit the post, maybe just in parentheses regarding, and then put what it's regarding, and it'll help me out. So I do apologize, but my brain is mush, you know. Oh, how did this go all the way down? Here we go. Let's see. Oh, Leslie's talking about the shooting, the I-65 shooting where a bunch of police officers shot, who, I mean, we don't know his name yet. It hasn't been released, or maybe it has, but I didn't see it trending. Parker told me that it was, this story's going to go nowhere. It's not going to be a big story. Nobody's going to talk about it because it was cops killing a white guy. And I kind of pushed back on that. I was like, well, no, I think this is going to be a big story. And Leslie is now saying that it was trending on Yahoo early in the morning. Must have been real early because I didn't see it. I started looking today around 8:45 and I didn't see it. And I was specifically looking for it because I wanted to prove him wrong. It does me no glory to have to say that he was right about something, but he was. And maybe it'll come back. Who knows? Maybe it'll come back around once we have more information. We'll see. But I thought that it was going to be the big hot story of the day. And it certainly doesn't seem to be, because there's a snowstorm coming to the East Coast, and the East Coast media are going to be inconvenienced. So all of us that don't live on the East Coast, we're going to have to learn about how hard it is to be them. How their chauffeur was late picking them up this morning because of the snow. That's the kind of shit we're going to have to hear. Clovis Steve points out that Cooper Kupp, we showed our moment of joy where it was this woman. She was mimicking Cooper Kupp. She put on a fake beard and all that, and she was basically mimicking his team speak, his football speak, a bunch of cliches and jargon that he strung together during a post-show interview right there on the field. Clovis points out that Cooper Kupp looks like Jake Paul. Yeah, you're right. He does. That's a very common look, though. That is a common young 20-something look today. If you're blonde. Jeff Glenn wants to know if I have a tardy slip. I was a little bit late today. I wasn't late. I was like a minute late. Come on, man. Stop busting balls. I was just like a minute late on the show. Clovis Steve, we talked about on this day in history, a car in 1938 set the land speed record, 238 miles per hour. It was a Mercedes-Benz. Clovis asks, was that pre or post German Autobahn? I don't know. 1938? It may have been the opening of the Autobahn. Wasn't the Autobahn a Nazi Hitler thing? May have been. I don't know. Good question. My buddy John, he says TGIF. Thank God it's Friday to you, John boy. Rob says, how old is that sweater? I swear you had that in the 90s. No, the sweater's new. How dare you? This sweater is, new by the term. I'm an old man. It's means it's a year or two old. This is not a 90s. I love this sweater. How dare you, Rob? Yes, Rob, I was always a sweater guy. I love sweaters. When you're big and bulky, sweaters are your best friend. I look better in sweaters than I do shirtless in July. So that's why I like the fall. I like sweater weather. Rob Barr. Lincoln Logs have characters, Jeff Glenn says. It's what the cowboy costumes for Primus, Winona's Big Brown Beaver, were based on. Okay, I'm not sure about that. Leslie Gladback, she agrees with me because we are of like mind on this. We don't agree on everything, but we agree on this. Today was the day that they recorded We Are the World. Leslie and I agree that Band-Aid was better. It was better. Band-Aid was, do they know it's Christmas Christmas. By the way, there's some really clumsy lyrics in Do They Know It's Christmas? It's a good song. Like the lyric in that song that I think is like a little bit cringy is where they go. I think it's Bono who sings it, where he goes, "Well, tonight, thank God it's them instead of you." Like, yeah, like, hey, God, thanks for shitting on those other people and giving me this nice warm. I don't know. That's such a clumsy lyric. That's like a cringy lyric. Well, tonight, thank God it's them instead of you. I don't know. Well, there won't be snow in Africa. Is there ever snow in Africa? Does it snow in Africa? I mean, aside from the mountaintops? This Christmas time. I mean, I've never seen like a, Congolese person shoveling snow. I've never seen that. The greatest gift they'll get this year is life. Oh, where nothing ever grows. God, that's such a... The lyrics, it's a good song though. That song is catchy. It's a catchy song, but the lyrics are just really cringy at times. Byron says, I was in first grade watching on TV when it blew up. We're talking about the Challenger disaster that happened on this day in 1986. Teacher casually turned off the television and told us to get out our spelling words. All right, nothing to see here, kids. Nothing to learn here. We're just going to pretend like that didn't happen. John says, I believe they had signs on the freeway to call if you found shuttle parts. Yeah, John, that's talking about the one that exploded over Texas. I remember that. And we coined the phrase shuttle country for any area of that part of Texas that we were unfamiliar with. And they had found for like years afterwards just chunks of the shuttle that had broken up over Texas for like this multiple hundreds of mile swath of Texas. And we weren't really familiar with that area. So the default term for that area became shuttle country. So whenever a story would come out about something going on there, where is that? Shuttle country? Yeah. Shuttle country is just a term for places in Texas that I have no idea. I have never been there. Texas is big, y'all. Texas is big. It's like its own, it's bigger than a lot of countries. Let's see here. Wasn't it the first teacher on the shuttle? Yes, it was. Krista McAuliffe. Yeah. Challenger. Clovis mentioned Sally Reed. It's Sally Ride, but that's okay, Clovis. You got enough. I'll give you credit on that one. Sally Ride was not on the Challenger. Sally Ride was the first female astronaut. She was Columbia, maybe? Is that what Jeff is saying? Jeff says Columbia. Jeff Glenn points out that Alan Alda was on Ray Donovan. I didn't know that. I love Ray Donovan, and I jumped off of Ray Donovan after his wife died. I was like, she was like one of my favorite parts of the show. I liked his wife, and then she died of cancer, and then it got really sad, and I was like, I can't handle this. I think maybe I was in a bad place in life, and I was like, I don't need this. So I jumped off Ray Donovan, but I've planned on actually going back and watching the last season of Ray Donovan, and now I see that there is a Ray Donovan movie, so maybe that's something I'm going to do. I am in a better place now. Let's see. Yes, Ross Rubio. I said it's Rick Ross's birthday. I said Rick Ross looks like, it reminds me of Suge Knight, and then Ross Rubio points out that he looks like Kimbo Slice. Racist! People can't look alike. People can't look similar. If they do, you're racist. We talked a little bit about Michael Hastings. It's his birthday. You should look him up. You should learn his story. Jeff Glenn points out he was married to Elise Jordan. Adam Reyna says we need to cut back on police spending. Ross is commenting on Sea Blue, who is the Interscope recording artist who shot a cop and was bailed out immediately. And so he's back on the street, says he needed the money. Ooh. All right. Jeff Glenn taking a shot, politically divisive shot. I'm not going to go there. We were talking about infrastructure and how these bridge collapsed in Pittsburgh today. Leslie says, I knew a girl whose sister fell through the bridge in Galveston. She survived. Man. No way. John, yeah, I talked about the bridge out there in Rockwall that I hate to drive over. I hate that bridge. I mean, I can only imagine what those bridges in Florida are like, where you go out over the ocean for like 50 miles or whatever they are. Apparently, to get to Kelly's house, she lives on an island off Corpus Christi. To get to her house, you have to drive like some ridiculous bridge that goes over the ocean. No, thank you. But the one out there in Rockwall, I hate that bridge in Rockwall. I do not like that bridge. It's way too big. It's way too long. It goes over way too much water. I do not like that bridge. John points out that is Lake Ray Hubbard. I don't know if he's right. He probably is. Ross says, remember when someone interviewed Chris Brown after the Rihanna beat down and he said no questions about it and they did anyway, and then he threw a chair through the window? Yes, wasn't that on Good Morning America? I think that was a Good Morning America thing. So he's a nice, calm guy. Chris Brown is in the news today. He's trending because he's being accused of rape. You can look that up. We talked about it earlier. Or just back to show up. You can find it then. Jeff Glenn, Neil Young knew someone had to be the first to jump, so now he's going to see who follows. Yes, Neil Young is being joined in the exit of Spotify, taking their catalog off of Spotify by, are you ready? Barry Manilow. Come on, we need bigger. He needs, if he wants to. This is not a thing. Barry Manilow. Okay. I don't mind Barry Manilow. Soundtrack of my youth. Barry Manilow was huge when I was a very little kid. I could probably rattle off right now 15 Barry Manilow songs. Oh, now, whoa, really? Did I just challenge myself? Can't smile when I smile at the Copacabana. This one's for you, where you Mandy. Oh, you came and you did. That's it. I'm out. That's it. I can't do any more. So I only got 5. I don't dislike Barry Manilow. I don't think I've ever looked up Barry Manilow on Spotify. It's not a knock on him. He just ain't my thing. If a Barry Manilow song came on and I was drunk and there was like a social party setting, I might find it comforting. I might find it nice because it's recognizable. It's not like they're playing something I've never heard before. And there's always a sentimental attachment to music, whether or not you openly admit that you like the music or not. If you heard a song, music has the ability to just sort of... like adhesive. It sticks to your memory and will implant itself as a major part of memory. Experiences. There is always listen to a song from your senior year of high school and you will immediately go, oh my God, that song reminds me of... That's what I mean. That's the sentimental attachment that music has. I mean, I wouldn't call myself a Barry Manilow fan, but I also wouldn't call myself a Barry Manilow hater. I'm just not actively in the Barry Manilow thing. Like I don't think I've actively ever searched out a Barry Manilow song. And now I can't because he's not on Spotify. Which again, Barry, you're not looking at the long term here. My 12-year-old son, will never be able to find Barry Manilow on Spotify. Oh, God. Yes. Adam is talking about Spotify versus Apple Music. Spotify is bigger than Apple Music. Spotify is the big beast, man. Spotify is bigger than any radio country, any radio group, anything. I mean, they've reinvented the way that people consume music. It's good for them. Good for them. Leslie points out that these artists are influential to current musicians. Yeah, I mean, that is, I think, something in some way that they are. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if, does Neil Young have any influence over Fetty Wap or Bad Bunny or Nicki Minaj? I don't know. I mean, what are we calling current musicians? Yes, Neil Young is very influential over Pearl Jam. Eddie Vedder worships the ground that Neil Young walks on. But Pearl Jam isn't a current band. They're an old people band. Neil Young is a real old people band guy. Whatever. Adam Reyna, apparently he is saying that he is Team Cat. Obviously. Ross Rubio talking about Rachel Ziegler. He says that she is Colombian and Polish. Yeah, Polish. Because there weren't any Jewish people in Poland. Come on, man. Rachel is a biblical, not biblical, what is that? Torah, whatever. Rachel is there aren't girls in Colombia named Rachel who aren't Jewish. I'm just saying. Rachel Ziegler. All right, let's look this up. Find it. We'll see. Let's find out what because you can always count on Wikipedia to tell you exactly what the ethnic and racial and religious background is of all of these people. Rachel Ziegler. Oh, she kind of looks like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. That's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen her before. Look at her. Isn't she wonderful? She is the new Snow White. Disney is showing how culturally progressive they are. Early life and education. Okay, Ziegler was born in Hackensack, New Jersey, at the Hackensack Medical Center, daughter of Gina and Craig Ziegler. She has an older sister, Jacqueline. Her maternal grandmother is Colombian, and her father is Polish. Yeah. Ziegler was raised in Clifton, New Jersey, where she attended St. Philip's Apostle Preparatory School. She then attended the Catholic All-Girls College Preparatory, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah, I'm guessing that Craig Ziegler, her father, the Polish guy, I believe that he is more than likely Jewish. And that is a very Jewish name, anyway. But she went to Catholic school. Yeah, so what? I know a lot. That doesn't mean that she was raised as a religiously Jewish, but I'm talking about ethnically Jewish. See, Judaism is both a religion and an ethnicity. Or I don't know. So I've been told. I don't really care. I don't make any, you're a Jewish person. Like, I'm not a religious person myself, so I don't care. It's not like, he's a Jew. Doesn't really matter to me. You tell me somebody's Jewish, it's like telling me that they're Canadian. It's okay, cool. Doesn't mean nothing to me. Earth Breeze is the best, not in a plastic jug, just a sheet that you tear in half. They plant a tree with every order. Awesome and affordable. Oh, I guess Leslie is talking about Bob Vila in his super expensive list of laundry detergents that he wants everybody to buy. Walmart carries a wide selection of Little Debbie's. All right. Bluebell. I was trying to think of what the Hudsonville. I was talking about Hudsonville ice cream, which is a Western Michigan, Midwestern ice cream brand that's very good. And I was like, every region of the country has an ice cream. Every region of the country has an ice cream that is the best ice cream on the planet. And I challenge anybody. Here's the facts, folks. All ice cream is good. Even the worst ice cream is still ice cream. I don't know if Hudsonville ice cream is better than Bluebell. I don't know if Bluebell is better than Hudsonville or whatever it is that they eat on the eastern seaboard or whatever it is they make up in the Pacific Northwest. I just know they're all probably really good. But I'll tell you this. Bluebell eggnog ice cream is ungodly good. Ungodly. Bluebell's some good ice cream now. But again, all ice cream is good. Even the worst ice cream is still ice cream. Yeah, that argument can be applied to almost anything. Not almost anything, but it can be applied to pizza. Even the worst, I am very hard on some pizzas, but even the worst pizza is still pizza. It's still bread with red sauce and cheese. Now, it may not be as great as the best that's out there, but it's still better than a bowl of Brussels sprouts that I had last night. You don't think I'd have rather had a Domino's bullshit garbage pizza than the bowl of Brussels sprouts? I'll talk shit all day long about how I feel Domino's is an inferior pizza. That's a truism in my life, but is it better than a bowl of Brussels sprouts? Yeah, it is. Then we're talking about the Michael Phelps situation. Michael Phelps situation. Jeff Glenn says that Taylor Leanne Chandler is hot. Moving on. She's got a nice body. Her breast job looks good. Byron with some of the most off-colored jokes. Adam says that, we talked about how it's Cash App Friday. Adam says he's 2 for 2 with the Cash App thing, that he got $10 and 25. Get out of here. I'm just not a winner. That's what tipped that off for you, Pugs? Okay, and now we are into the more recent stuff. Adam says, I read an article that kids who say they watched the Challenger in their classroom are more than likely lying. No school had TVs in all their classrooms back then. Yeah, that's not true. You read a bad article. I mean, I was in school back then. They'd roll the TV in. I mean, I was in high school, but even years before that, a decade before that, we used to have TVs rolled in. So I don't know. I think you read a bad article. Not crazy. Oh, but you might be right. I mean, it might be like one of those Woodstock situations, where everybody who's over 70 years old was at Woodstock. We have a version of that in Chicago, the famous disco demolition night at White Sox Park, where the fans rioted and started to burn the stadium down. Everybody was there. If everybody was at Disco Demolition Night who says they were at Disco Demolition Night, then there were like 1.5 million people attending that game in a stadium that only had about room for 38,000. People tend to do that. People tend to want to, with the passage of time, they want to implant themselves in the moment of something that is historic. Because ultimately, we don't have all that many close attachments to historic things. We missed out. I watched most of the shit that I know about on TV. Bill says he prefers the YouTube than the Google. Oh, okay. There, roll TV in, not in every room. We watched as a group in our gym. All right, well, whatever, Adam. You're splitting hairs there. You basically, and I understand you limited characters and you tried to nutshell it as easy as possible, but you basically said they didn't have TVs in classrooms back then, and I'm just saying, yes, they did. Yeah, and you know what? Once you shut up and spend that money that you got from Cash App, you lucky bastard. Leslie, she says, I used to memorize stuff in college by making a song out of it. So did I. That's one of the ways that I used to teach myself. Oh my God, what's an example? Oh God, can I pull up any examples of songs that I still do it to this day? Never mind. I was going to say mostly with PIN numbers and passwords so that I can remember passwords. Who knows? All right, gangsters. That's about it. That's gonna do it. That's gonna be it. It's gonna be it for us. We're out of here. This is hold on. Hold on. That's funny. Sorry, I can't share that joke. Dr. Schwartz just sent me a text, and it was a pretty funny joke. It wasn't mean or anything. Just had to do with something. I don't know. Well, doesn't matter. It's a joke between us. It's not even like I can't share it with you. It's just that I wouldn't want to spend the next 10 minutes explaining the context of the joke because it's not funny. Or maybe, I don't know. I mean, it has to do. Actually, that's overstating it too. It's just. I'm tired. And I gotta go run now. I have got my poetry. You know what I'm going to eat today? You know what I'm going to eat for dinner? You know what's on the agenda for today? So I'm waking up and I'm just drinking coffee in the morning and then ice water. I don't even get to have any diet soda. I love my diet soda. I don't even get diet soda. It's just ice water. So my stupid dinner tonight is probably going to be a big giant bowl of peas and carrots and then some crab flakes, like those, the crab, you buy the crab, you eat the crab flake. I don't know what the hell you use it for. I just eat it. And then I'll have some crab flakes and some chopped cucumbers, and I put the crab flakes, crab chunks, and I put it on a cucumber, right? And then I mix up a little wasabi and soy sauce dip, and I call it white trash sushi. And it's just crab. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a bowl of peas and carrots, and I'm looking at some white trash sushi. Enjoy your pizza or whatever the hell it is that you normal, non-fat, gross people get to have. Skadooby-dooby-dooby-doo. Skadooby-da-dum-dee-do. Support the show any way you can. Forward it, like things, subscribe on the YouTube channel. You can catch all the past shows at pugscast.com. You can support the show monetarily by any of those options that you see there at the bottom of the screen. It is much appreciated, especially here on the 28th. We're heading into the end of the month. It's going to be one of them weekends. No, it's not. It's going to be a fun weekend. I don't mean to overstate it. Never-ending quest. Rams, Bengals. That's right. I'm going to take the dog in the AFC, and I'm going to take the favorite in the NFC. Rams are the favorite, right? They should be. But Pugs, they've already lost twice to the 49ers. It doesn't matter. This is a different season now, and the Rams are at home. I'm going Rams, Bengals for your Super Bowl. We'll see if I'm right on Monday. So I told you yesterday after the show, I go for my run. In the first day that I got back into my post-show run, I went out. I can choose to run among the mansions of Armstrong Parkway in beautiful 1%er Highland Park, Texas. I can choose that, or I can go out the other end and I can run up Lemon Avenue. And the first day I ran up Lemon Avenue, and it was like a friggin' Dr. Seuss book. Oh, the things I saw on Lemon Avenue. I don't want to do that anymore. There were some things I saw on Lemon Avenue that made me uncomfortable, and I like to run in peace. Now, the flip side of that is that when I run past the 10,000 square foot, $10 million mansions of this area of Highland Park, I get really depressed and angry, and I just want to be mad because half the people that have these houses, I believe, their grandparents did something, and now, they're just still living off that. Whatever, don't get off on a tangent. But yesterday I did the wealthy neighborhood run, and I was running along. This was Arcady. I was at Arcady, if you know where this is. I was at Arcady and not Douglas, Armstrong. Was it Douglas? No, yeah. Okay, I was at Arcady and Armstrong, and I come around a corner, and there is a woman taking out her garbage. Now, I don't know if I think she was the woman of the house, and I applaud her for taking out her own garbage. I would assume that she has a team of ethnics to do that for her, but she was taking out her garbage, and she turned and she looked at me, and she jumped, and she got scared. Like I spooked her because I was jogging down the street and she didn't see me when she came out, and she went, like that. And I said to her, I popped out my headphones and I laughed and I smiled and I said, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't mean to scare you. And you know what she did? She did this. Multi-answer test. I was being nice. For a moment there, you thought I was some crazy killer rapist monster. And I was being nice. I was trying to diffuse your fear by going, I'm sorry, ma'am. You didn't see me there. Ha ha. People in this neighborhood suck. not E, and not the people directly behind us. They're wonderful. The people directly to the left of us, they're wonderful. People on both sides of us are wonderful. This particular little area are all right. We got Dr. Snotface, who lives diagonal from us. He calls the police on our dog because the dog barks. Dog doesn't bark like a maniac. This isn't... Yeah, Dr. Snot, I'd love to see how Dr. Snot... You wouldn't last a week in an apartment complex.
The best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some.
Whoa.
I have got an old guitar.
Skidooby.
That is all I need.
I think I overplayed it there. I think I just need to accent with the horns. I don't need to carry the entire note.
From the comfort nest.
Like that.
Never-ending quest. Tomorrow is another day. The best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some.
All right, I'm out of here. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll rally back. Hate to interrupt the dulcet tones of one John Hinckley, America's favorite failed presidential assassin and singer-songwriter. We'll see you back here on Monday. Monday at high noon. Tell your friends. Come one, come all. Support the show. Support it by sharing, by liking, by subscribing, donating, whatever. But we'll see you on Monday at noon. Love you. Bye.
Little now, things are going good. I always had to be on guard. That is understood. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending